What the hell? Alligator? You seen the size of that thing? Yeah. What the hell? I don't know about eating a pizza, but the alligator'd have a healthy meal if you fucking ate him, wouldn't it? Jesus. Oh, watch stream. Hold on a minute. Let's have a look at this. Hold on, mate. I'm just clicking on it now. Hold on, hold on. Let's have a look at this. It's an abnormal read, mate. I'm looking at now that what you're showing me, and it stands out like a sore thumb. Mhm. That's clever. Oh yeah, I've heard you mention him a few times. What? Go back again a little bit. That I've just seen that happen quick. Mhm. How do you get to do this? It's clever. This. Oh yeah, I can just see me. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's what colour he is. Orange. Oh god, he's way down at the bottom. Mm, that is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Altenden's done well, hasn't he? Alten. I've seen him. He's good as well because he always answers you back as well when you're when you mention something to him. He seems a canny fella. But do you know what I mean? I mean, I'm paranoid like mad. What every time I upload a YouTube video or I'm doing a short, I'm trying my best to stick in with the rules. Does he not? Does he not realise though the fact like he risks his channel getting shut down? Is it worth it though? Losing all that and having to start from scratch again? Slow and steady's the answer, is it not? I can see a CFC fan TV. Yeah, because he's not long started his channel compared to us. It's just a matter of time, isn't it, before his channel gets shut down? If he is breaking any rules, I don't know if he is or not. I mean, if we can get penalised for a 7-second clip and get a strike, how come it's taking them so long to work out what he's doing then? Or do you think it's a different sort of protocol, isn't it? Different way to check.
Close and some of the games that we've had, you know, the Cardiff one was a great example of it, are so frustrating because we just don't want to see that. We don't want to see a team come and not have any ambition, but that's what they do because of the fear of how, you know, that we're better than them if it was an open, you know, just an open match and toe-to-toe. But, you know, as we saw with Sheffield Wednesday the other night, they're probably, some of the teams haven't got the personnel to do that. I thought Cardiff did it really well and were organised. Can Watford do a similar thing? I don't know. They seem to be a team that, like, you know, they've got leggy forwards who want to, you know, be expansive.
Views and that, and it is frustrating.
You know, a nice open game I think would suit us more than
that's how you do it. You just got to keep grinding away, and it's more rewarding when you get genuine subscribers.
Watford are actually second and Sunderland are fourth. Yeah. So they like to keep the ball, and we haven't came up against many teams like that. The last time that we did, at the stage of my life, we give them a hiding 5-0. So I hope Watford want to play their own game because that will suit us down to a T. But yeah, I mean, what I am looking forward to,
I'm sure you've had times where you get good responses from your videos, and sometimes you go through a period where your views
I mean,
drop.
when Rooson came on the other night, I thought he had a lot of pace, and in the under 21s against Derby, looks like he's got a lot of pace. So if we do need to change it and maybe play that ball over the top, there is an option there if we need to where he can run onto it. But I mean, I'm with you. I think Burstow's done a very good job in what he's doing. He hasn't got a goal yet, but his turn for the penalty the other night, I agree, that's an assist for him because he was going to get a shot away.
Oh, 100%.
And he's been very well. So We've got the
I've had
options
quite
there.
a few
Let's just hope that
subscribers
we
from my
can get
short
the job done again.
videos, surprisingly.
Thank you very much indeed, Brad. Good to hear your views ahead of tonight's game. Brad, a Sunderland supporter, looking forward to Sunderland against Watford. We have two matches for you tonight, so it's now time that we parted company. So, Marco, thank you very much indeed. Look forward to hearing your verdict on the game on tomorrow evening's Total Sport. Marco Gabbiadini, former Sunderland striker. We're going to split frequencies now, which means that if you want to continue listening to Build Up ahead of Newcastle United against Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League here at St James's Park, you need to make sure that you are listening on our FM frequencies. And the Build Up to Sunderland against Watford, which kicks off at 7:45, continues with Barnsley and Gary Bennett on DAB next.
Keep up to date with all the latest news where you live on your smart speaker. You can listen to the latest local news whenever you want. All you need to do is ask your smart speaker to play BBC News for the North East. Try it now and always keep up to date with the latest news where
I've heard
you
as well
live.
that the fact that when you lose your
Total
subscribers,
Sport North
could
East.
actually be the fact that there's a few fake accounts getting shut down.
With his left, is tapped by Pritchard for Ahmad. Roberts now looking to get it on his left and try and play it into Ekwa.
You don't think getting one copyright strike would affect or penalise your views, would it?
Great sport kicks off here.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Here at the Stadium of Light, the floodlights are on
Maybe I'm
fully
just-
now. They were only on
Because my
half
YouTube shorts,
until a
my
few
YouTube
minutes
shorts
ago.
are going
They're taking
from
no
1,500
chances.
to 2,000 all of a
The
sudden to
electricians
about 10.
I have to say, done a
It's like,
remarkable
that is,
job.
that's all
because at
happened
4:30 this
since I've
afternoon
had
there was
that
no power here.
copyright
So
strike.
they've managed
Or
to get
unless
the
it's just I'm
stadium
being
back
paranoid and it's just a
on the grid,
coincidence
if you
and it
like.
happens
But
from time
I
to
think there
time.
still will be problems that need to be resolved over the next few weeks, possibly a few more than a few weeks. But anyway, the floodlights are on.
But how many
Lighting
times
on,
have you
have
said to
power
me,
at the Stadium of Light. The Sunderland team has one change.
keep away
Barr
from
comes in for
keep away
Pritchard,
from the big
Patterson in
clubs, the
goal.
Premier League, the Liverpools and the
O'Neill,
Arsenals and
Ballard,
this and that and
Huggins,
the other.
Neil, Joe,
Even if you try and change it as
Barr,
much as you
Roberts,
can,
Clark and
the
Burstow.
chances of you getting
Benno's here
done
next
for
to me.
it
I'm
is
assuming
triple,
we'll chat to
isn't
him
it?
about this in a moment. Barr will play wide right. The benches: Bishop, Ashish, Hamir, Sealt, Triantis, Rigg, Rusin, Taylor and Bennett.
Hold on, are you
is back
streaming there,
after
Ralph?
illness. Watford make a couple of changes.
All right,
Batman
hold on.
in goal. Ryan Porteous, Wesley Hutt and Francisco Serialta at the back.
hold on.
Jeremy Ngakia and Jamal Lewis, who's on loan from Newcastle United, are the wing backs if they do set up as a five. In midfield then Imran Louza and Tom Deli Bashiru. The two changes come in the front three. Tom Ince comes in and dropping out are Mileta Racovic and Yesa Aspria.
Oh
So
yeah,
it'll be
yeah.
Ince
Are
on
them
the
are
right,
them spikes where
Vacuum
the
Bayo
streams
in
are?
the middle, and the Georgian international Georgi Chakvatadze will come in on the left-hand side of that front three for Watford. No away win since January the 2nd, and that was a 1-0 win at Norwich City. So Sunderland set up, as always, to attack. And
Then you'll
firstly, the
find
first
as well,
question, obviously,
you'll
Bennett.
get more
Good evening.
viewers
Good
when
evening.
Sunderland are
We're
playing at
assuming
home because
Barnes
all
will
the other
play wide right,
YouTubers are
as
not
he did
streaming.
when Roberts was injured.
Yeah, I would imagine that Roberts will just take up the role.
Tell you
where
I've not
Pritchard played.
seen for a long time,
Barr will
Jam
go out
Sarni.
wide on the right-hand side. And yeah, it was a major
He's back
concern
out,
when
yeah.
they said
And
that
Giles
one
and
of the big
Steve, I was
players
surprised that they
injured.
didn't do
He won't be
the
taking
score
part
predictions
tonight,
and dropped
I
down.
think everybody's thoughts were that it might be a Jack Clark or Dan Neil.
And I think we'll also assume
That's
Watford
got the
will
choice,
not
haven't they?
be
It's up to them.
Cardiff. They won't sit back and try and play for a draw. They will try and score goals. They have scored goals
Good lads,
on their
though.
travels. I mean, they put 3 past Coventry in a 3-3 draw at Coventry City. They scored 2 against Middlesbrough at the weekend. They put 4 plus Queen's Park Rangers on their opening day of the season. So there are goals in the team. It's just that they're liable, from what we've been told earlier. We heard from Jeff from Three Counties Radio that they will concede goals. They play out from the back. and
I'm
they're not very good
still
at it.
Yeah, they
doing a
will
lot of
concede
tips that
goals,
you've taught us
but
in the past,
don't
and
take
stuff,
them
which is
lightly.
helping. But every
We
now
all
and
know
again, I
about
keep
Watford
slipping
side,
down into
they're
my old
usually
habits.
big, strong, powerful, bit of pace in the team. Yeah, they are going for a bad spell. Confidence is quite low, but it's how we go about the game. It's how we deal with the game, and we know that they'll get men behind the ball. But we've got to make sure that when opportunities come, we've got to make sure that we take them.
We're going to hear from Mason Burstow and Tony Mowbray before kick-off. It's 7:45 here
Okay, cheers,
this
mate.
evening. When I said to you the other day that people have been complaining about Burstow, you were horrified, absolutely horrified. And then we had Davey on, you know, Davey on Total Sport, and he came
I'm
straight
not
on
bothered
and
about
said,
hearing
"Getting
it,
out the
man. I
team."
can watch it.
He is dividing opinion, there's no question.
Well, you know, we all know about football. It's all about opinions, and it depends on what you're looking for. You know, if you go and look for a player, or you're trying to scout players, you know, people are looking for the perfect player, somebody who's got a left, right, can head, can run, can tackle, can dribble. You're not going to get that. You know, we talk about, you know, a Wayne Rooney. You're not going to get a Wayne Rooney. You know, but what you've got to look at is what abilities have they got which will help the team. It's a team game. So you look at the likes of Jack Clark. We all know that he's great at
Are
dribbling
you confident tonight, Anf?
you know, but you need other players. Some players are the ones who are making the runs to create that space. You know, you need a Jack Ballard, you need a Dan Neil, who's his creativity, you know, passing the ball. But you also need players who can retain the ball. And you've got to say, for me, Burstow, when the ball comes into him,
just a
he's
bit
strong,
sort of.
his retention of the ball is good, and he helps the rest of the team.
The Spirit of 37 have produced a big flag for Bradley Lowry tonight. That will be passed along the top section, I think it is, of the Roker end. Anyways, it covers.
It's just that our home
earlier,
form is still a bit sort of wishy-washy, isn't it?
Supporters, so that will be on display before kick-off after the unfortunate incidents at Sheffield Wednesday last Friday. But as a consequence of that, over £20,000 has been raised for the Bradley Lowry Foundation, which is fantastic. But it shouldn't have come to that in the first place.
It should have come to that. And you know,
I've noticed
we
this.
go back to the old situation there in regards of
the teams that are starting to hit form, I think, are Middlesbrough, Southampton, Norwich, West Brom. So I always had this sneaky feeling that Middlesbrough's they're not going to be bottom of the league.
You know, and that's a big question, which, you know, we still can't get find an answer to, is that when supporters come to a football ground, you know, sometimes we're astonished or amazed in regards of the behaviour. You know, for some unknown reason, it comes, say, 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, and they just become somebody totally different.
Stoke are struggling, aren't they?
Sort of related to that. Watford have issued a statement
Stoke City
today.
is struggling.
Luther Blissett was at the forefront of this because he's involved at Watford now. I think he's.
Good evening, Jacob. Hope you're well, mate.
He met the players, and they've all decided that they are no longer now going to take the knee before a game. They will come together on the pitch before kick-off, but the taking of the knee, they are stopping doing that. It's interesting because Sunderland didn't do it, did they? But then Job and Burstow have been taking the knee for Sunderland, so it'll be interesting to see whether they do that again tonight. But Watford have released that statement, so we'll see them just come together as a huddle, as a group, before kick-off.
But the question is, Nick, why have they got to release a statement? It's up to the individual. If the individual, and we've had this, you know, we've talked about this when obviously taking off the knee begun, and we were saying about it's up to the individual if they want to take the knee. If they don't, then fair enough. You know,
I'm not sure how this. Daniel Bachmann is the spokesman, the goalkeeper, has been the spokesman for Watford over this. Luther Blissett in their statement says it's a complex issue, it goes back a long way. But you're right, I mean, it's up to the individuals, which is clearly the case at Sunderland because Job and Burstow have been taking it. Yeah, and how many times have we seen these stants go on? You know, we talk about, okay, when we're talking about anything which happens in games, especially around racism, you know, we've got the T-shirts. You know, we've got people who are standing. How long does it last for? We always said that as time goes on, it fades out of the game. But it's up to the individual if they want to continue.
Predictions, Jacob.
Taking a knee, to take the knee. It's just the same if somebody scores a goal. They've got an action.
You know, it just depends what Sunderland's side
turn. People who do that, it becomes a brand. And if they want to continue taking the knee.
I don't know. I'm going to go 3-0 Sunderland. How about that?
Excellent. Let's hear from. We've been talking about him. We might as well hear from him. I spoke with the Sunderland centre forward Mason Burstow following Friday night's win at Sheffield Wednesday.
Mason, was that a frustrating
Well, the
game
Sunderland
for
match
you
is on
tonight,
Sky
or
Sports Mix
a
tonight?
good game for you because you've got a 3-0 win and a clean sheet, but the number of times you put yourselves in positions and you were just hoping that a ball would come over the top for you and it went wide? And
yeah, no, it's a great game, great result. We deserved every point. I think we were the better team by far.
Hello,
But
Cole
if you look
Pep,
at
how
it
are
from
you
a selfish
doing?
point of view, I would have liked to
You're
score,
going for
score as well.
2-0, huh?
But you know, you can't complain
Jacob.
when you get an assist and contribute to the team winning.
you won the penalty. Was there any argument about who was going to take the penalty kick?
No, he's on top form, Jack. So he deserves to keep scoring, keep on the form he is, because he's helping us out.
How are you finding it here? Because
Good
when
evening,
you first
all.
arrived, Tony Mowbray was saying how he was so impressed with you wanting to come to Sunderland. It was the club you wanted to come to because the offers that you were getting, such as Milan, you know, you turned that down to come here.
Yeah,
Quiet.
it's proven to be the right
Quietly
choice as well.
confident.
I'm enjoying it here. The fans are amazing, the club's amazing, the staff, the players, they're all good with me. And yeah, well, I've settled now. I've just moved into my place. So
I said 3-0
hopefully
Watford.
performances keep like today, and we kick on.
What was it that prompted you
I said
to want to come to
3-0
Sunderland?
Watford.
And, I mean, I don't know how much you knew about the club before the move came about, and I know that Christian Speakman and Tony said they worked very, very hard to try and get you to Sunderland. But I mean, how much did you know about the club?
I know a lot about the club. I played against them when I was at Charlton before. It's a great club with a great fan base, and obviously Tony's a well-respected manager, and the fact I can have meetings with him and he'd be so passionate about me and be asking about me from the start of the window. You know, it's a club that wanted me from the start, so it was a no-brainer when it came about as an option.
You joined a club which is on the up, there's no question, and a group of players that are, well, from week in, week out, what they're doing on the pitch is fantastic to watch. How does it feel to be potentially part of something special?
It feels amazing. A club that is on track to get promoted to the Premier League. It's things you want to do when you're growing up, play in a league like that. Playing with this team as well. It feels really good. It's a young team. Everyone likes each other. Like there's no bad energy anywhere. So it's an amazing feeling.
How's your Ukrainian and French? I mean, that's a new dimension for you to try and get to grips with.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're just trying to get them on the English side more. So obviously it's very new for Nazar and the French lads. You know, there's a few of them, so they're comfortable as is. But I'm sure once we get them more on track and get them on board, then we'll be flying even more.
You'll know, I mean, because you've done your homework, that until January, until the summer, they've been playing without strikers basically. Now suddenly there's 4 of you, and Tony has said, look, there will be weeks when you've got 3 games a week, you'll be on the bench, and Rusin will be in, or Meander will be in. I mean, you're presumably happy to play along with that. That's, you know, what football's about. But there's the other side of it. You probably want to play every game.
Yeah. Of course, there's a selfish side where you want to play every game and score every goal that happens in every game. So, but you know, as a team, we've got a great project going on. There's great players on the bench. Everyone's fighting for their shirt every week. So, you know, if I do have to miss out a game because there's 3 games in a week, then so be it. But I know Tony's thinking of us, and that will come on eventually and play our part.
There was one point in the game as well that you, in front of the Sunderland fans, went to whip them up. Now you'll win them over. You know, things like that mean so much to the supporters.
They've been amazing with me since I come. You know, they've been patient. Obviously, the goals don't come as quick as I would have liked them to, but you know, they've been on my side, and they deserve everything from the players.
I only found out it was on Sky Sport Mix.
Yeah,
last night. I had no idea.
In training, I think Tony said the other week you were giving the net a rash, the number of balls you were smashing into it. So I mean, clearly, you know, there is something there, and from your point of view, I guess there might be some slight frustration that it hasn't actually happened yet in a game.
Yeah, of course that's the case. I score in training and just waiting for it to happen in the game. So once it does, I'm sure it'll keep coming. But like I said, assisting players and having players like Jack Clark who score
I think
goals and Abdullah who score goals, then you know it's not necessarily all the pressure on me. So yeah, they will come, and when it does, it'll be good.
Total Sport North East.
Live from the Stadium of Light.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
That's Mason Burstow, very personable, very bright young lad. I think hopefully it's only a matter of time before he gets his name on the score sheet. He was certainly getting in the right positions at Sheffield Wednesday. Just unfortunate the ball wasn't finding him. It was going wide rather than through the middle. We're going to hear from Tony Mowbray shortly. Two birthdays I have to mention. One is today, Charlie Hurley. 87 today.
Fantastic.
So happy birthday to Charlie Hurley. And the other is George Forster, who's 97 on Saturday.
Brilliant.
He's coming to the game, so he wouldn't hear a mention. I'm hoping he's listening
97.
to the game tonight. So happy birthday for Saturday to George Forster, who's 97, and he's coming to the match. He's going to be treated on Saturday.
Wine and dine.
He's actually, ironically, going to be in the Charlie Hurley suite. So there's a little bit of symmetry there with the two of them. Charlie Hurley, 87 today, and George Forster, 97 on Saturday. So happy birthday to both of you. We are, 10 minutes away from kick-off. One change for Sunderland. Barr comes in for the injured Pritchard, and two changes for Watford, replacing Mileta Rajovic and Yesa Aspria.
Hello.
Georgie Chakvatadze and Tom Ince. Someone said to me today,
absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt,
he's still playing, and he's only 31. There you go.
Once again, it's just raising awareness and giving support and that, like, for the family after what's happened the last few days and stuff.
Back in the side tonight.
Absolutely.
Let's then hear ahead of kick-off from the Sunderland head coach, Tony Mowbray.
Tony, you've spoken a little bit about the injuries. Can I ask about Adji and Mayenda, how far away they are? And it seems that Jefferson Bennett has disappeared down a hole. I mean, what's the situation with him as well?
Jewson's been ill, to be honest. He hasn't been around. He's been kept away. A bug, basically. He's back on the training ground now. He's back available. Rather than travelling and not getting off the bench in the last game, we let him go and play for the 21s at Aston Villa. The other two you mentioned, Adji and Eliza, they're both trained today and looked really good. Adji looked the powerful, fantastic footballer he can be and is at times, and yet he doesn't feel quite ready yet, and he might fall into that category of we forced him, but pressured, what's the right word, encouraged him to play against Luton Town in that second game because of the physicality in the team, and he obviously didn't go out well for any of us really, because he's been out since then. So I don't think we have any need to rush him back. He needs to know in his own mind that he feels ready and strong and powerful. Eliza Mayanda looks so exciting in training. You know, I was stood watching the last little bit in the small-sided game with one of the coaches, and he is super powerful and super dynamic and got a rocket in his left foot, and he's going to catch a few people out, I think, when he comes on the pitch, and we put him on the pitch sometimes, and I think the fans should be excited by how dynamic he is. But we'll wait and see. I shouldn't really say that because I'm building him up before he's had the chance to put it on the pitch, but I'm only telling you what I see in training. He looks strong, quick, powerful, rocket in his left foot, and hopefully he'll do the damage when he gets fit and available.
Have you got a time scale on when you think he might? I mean, I think you've spoken before, possibly just after the international break. Is that still a possibility?
I think so. Whether that's a game,
I think it's a good reminder as well. If anybody's nasty towards it or
coming
really
along with us, and he's played a game for the 21s in the
majority of
international
football
break, we'll have to wait and
come
see.
down and you like a ton of bricks.
What I do know is he's nearly there, because he's training and not just doing the warm-up, he's training and joining in the training now. So that's telling me that the medical department, sports science department have got enough confidence to keep him going. And the next step in my mind is he gets half a game in a 21s game coming up pretty soon.
Where are you in terms of what you think your development of Mason Burstow is? Because he seems to be dividing opinions a lot. The fans feel he's not producing the goods, but the other side of the coin is he's progressively, each game that goes by, he seems to be getting into better positions, and you just get that feeling it's only a matter of time before he gets a goal, and that might just kick-start his season.
Yeah, I think for me he works extremely hard. I think the fine
Exceeding
tuning of his
expectations in
game
my
is
mind.
you
Long
have
may
to
it
put in the context
continue.
of his
All right,
skill
Doug,
he's
how
got.
you doing, fella? You keeping well?
You have to put in the context of he has to learn the game, and he's learning the game in the hardest place on the pitch in the Championship. And I think he's doing okay. We all know that he needs a goal from somewhere. He won the penalty the other night. He's non-stop running and chasing and closing down and helping the team put pressure on the opposition so we can win the ball back and play. I just think he needs some confidence and belief that he can score in this league and not just from the corner, I'm sure.
You've talked about the problems of playing Wednesday, Saturday lunchtime, compounded obviously now because of the injury you've talked about. Yeah. Has that made it more complicated in the sense, would you have been minded to make changes with a half of
Can I ask an important question?
Saturday, or were you just concentrating on
how's the dogs?
We'll play this team tonight and then I'll deal with Middlesbrough in the aftermath?
I think that's what you have to do. I think it's folly to pick a team that gets beat but rest some of your players that you would want to play,
Only
and then play them on Saturday and get beat. And I think you have to try and take the points from the next game, in my mind. And let's see how the game goes. You never know what Wednesday is going to bring. We might have to physically give it the best physical output of the season to win. You never know. Or we might be 4-0 up at half time and we can take a few off and move the ball around the pitch and take a breather almost. But it's a pretty unlikely scenario, of course. But I think my mindset's always try and win the next game, not worry about the third game in and pick a team that you're trying to protect because it's only 3 points against
I only asked that question when we're 3-0 up.
Finally, from me, when you talked start of the season, you always look at it's about around the 10-game mark when you start to get a feeling for how the division's going to pan out this season. This is your 10th game. Do you think it hasn't actually settled down yet?
And when I said to you about using images and stuff, right? What did you mean? Is in the public domain? How do you know if an image is in the public domain or not?
From where we are, we're only 3 points away from being in the bottom half of the table. Really, it's a really tight thing. It hasn't really settled down. You'd have to say that the teams at the top.
So taking a screenshot off a broadcast still classed as copyright
for them, but.
Sorry, I'll talk about this after.
And I shouldn't talk about other teams, but Preston have been up there right at the top all season.
Yeah.
4-0 at home. It just shows the league really. I think the best teams will find their way.
Keeping well, midday and sunny here. Lovely, Doug, lovely.
It's just taking a bit of time to settle down for some of them, and I even look at Blackburn. Look how good Blackburn were for half an hour against us, and then I read some comments from the Leicester manager saying that Blackburn were the best team that played this year, and yet they battered them 4-1. They get the other side of the game right. In possession they're extremely good, but they get the other side of the game, they're going to be really strong as well. And so I think every team can still look and think, because it was probably after this point last year that Carrick took over. Middlesbrough was second bottom or third bottom and should have had a fantastic chance to get automatic promotion and ended up going into the playoffs. But I think the strong teams are the best players, and once they settle down and the ideas of the coach filter into them good players, then the league will sort itself out, I think. And I put very little stock in to think that Middlesbrough and Watford, our next two games, are 18th and 16th or whatever it is in the league. I think they've got some really good players and they're good sides, and we need to respect that and be ready and try and give it our best in both games.
Total Sport North East.
Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett, MBE.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Teams have just been let out here by the referee, Andy Davis, all in black tonight, who was last in charge here. A last Sunderland game, only won last season, November, at home to Cardiff. He showed 7 yellow cards. There was a penalty as well, but that was saved by Patterson. So Andy Davis,
smash the like button for the win. How are the lads? Thanks a lot, Kingfisher, mate. Welcome along indeed.
Tonight, Sunderland, of course, in their red and white stripes, black shorts and red socks. The Bradley Lowry flag is making its way across from east to west. At the Roker end, there's only one Bradley Lowry, and the floodlights are still on full. We're on floodlight watch tonight. We'll know when if they go off. I think we'd be fully aware.
Do you think they'll go off?
But there have been issues. Fingers crossed.
Do you think they'll go off?
Tony Mowbray just strolling around in his gilet, his hands in his pockets, as the mascots line up in the centre. Sunderland with
Watford's
in goal, Hume, O'Nien, Ballard and Huggins, Neil,
Watford's keeper's about 10 foot tall.
And Burstow.
Big lad.
On the bench tonight, Bishop, Aushish, Hamir, Sealt, Triantis, Rigg.
He looks a bit like Hugo Lloris.
Taylor and Bennett. And for Watford, Daniel Bachmann in goal, Ryan Porteous, who was linked heavily with Sunderland in the summer, Wesley Hurt, Francisco Sirialta, Jeremy Ngakia, Imran Louza, Tom Ince, Tom Delibashiru, Jamal Lewis, Vakum Bayo and Giorgio Chakvatadze. Bob Murray's here tonight. We'll be talking to him next week. You'll hear from him on Total Sport. He's just.
Hey, Anthem, glad you like my firework display, by the way.
From that, it's going to the Foundation of Light. Watford are going to get this game underway, looking for their first away win since January the 2nd, when they won 1-0 at Norwich City. They've lined up on the halfway line. It's like they're going to splurge into the Sunderland half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them lined up on the halfway line, and 4 remain in the Watford half as they get the game underway. And the ball swept down the right of central midfield. They're looking for
there's loads of empty seats. Absolutely loads.
International. He's got his left arm, his wrist in bandage, and the ball is out for a Watford throw. 18 yards from the corner. Knocked out by Clark as they tried to work the ball in Watford on that right-hand side. I mentioned the referee, his last game.
I was watching the Stoke game the other night on Sky, and I tell you what, it was like the stadium was just completely empty. I'm surprised for a biggest club like Stoke.
On that far side, Tom Ince plays it back here to Francisco Sirialta, the Chilean international, but he's put the ball behind for a goal kick.
Leicester Preston's a tasty tie tonight.
Patterson's just removing his gloves or something from the side of the pitch and let Ballard take the kick in the 6-yard box. Out to Hume in the middle here. Huggins is out. Huggins is on the right. This is interesting. Huggins is playing as the right wing back or right back, isn't he?
Yeah.
And Hume is playing as left back tonight. At the moment, at any rate, that's the way they set up. So be good reason for that. Here is Wesley Hurt, the Dutch international, signed from Anderlecht in the summer, playing it through to Bayo. He tried to poke it through to Imran Louza, but Sunderland have won it back. Dan Neil here to Luke O'Nien, now to Job, and a run from Job down the left-hand side into the Watford half, and he plays it back to Luke O'Nien. O'Nien forwards here, down the right wing to Barr. As we thought, Barr is playing wide. Back to Neil, and Neil into the centre circle to Luke O'Nien. And O'Nien through to Job on the left, almost central now of midfield inside the Watford half. Back to Dan Neil, quickly out to Barr on the right-hand side. Barr now just flicks the ball into Roberts, who pokes it back to Barr, but he stumbled slightly. Watford able to get the ball out, played out to Chakvatadze. And the Georgian international is making a long run forwards, and he's got down the right-hand side and laid the ball off to Tom Ince. Georgi Chakvatadze. He's come back inside to Imran Louza, who's a Moroccan international. Out wide on the right here, Watford, a long way in the Sunderland half, deep in the Sunderland half. But they play it back to the halfway line. It's played across by Ryan Porteous to Wesley Hurt, and out here on the left to Jamal Lewis, the defender on loan from Newcastle. Ball floated down the left. O'Nien cuts it out. Neil trying to get it to Barr. Lewis has won it back though for Watford. Jamal Lewis plays it back then to Hood, and he plays it into the middle to Porteous, Scottish international, into Loser in the centre circle, back to Porteous, and he's looking for the run of Ngakia, but it's won back by Sunderland. Clark blocked, Watford win it back, then lose it. Job, it was looked like he was impeded.
That's
He's
a
then
foul.
brought down.
That's a foul.
A foul by,
well done, Job.
Sirialta. He's being spoken to by Andy Davis. He's actually just come back from injury. Andy Davis, he's a Premier League referee and certainly Premier League 2 select referee from Hampshire.
What does that mean?
Probably not a great
Premier
deal
League,
these days, bearing in mind the fun and games at Anfield.
Exactly.
What a farrago that one is. What hopes have Liverpool got of that game being replayed? I'd have thought none, actually. But anyway, who knows? Free kick then to Sunderland. Watford holding a line just outside the area. It's floated in here, and Sirialta heads it away. It was Roberts who took the free kick. It's out on the left with Jamal Lewis. He's under pressure here from Hume. And Hume in the corner, can't block it. Watford get it down the line. Barr wins it back in front of Chakvatadze. Into Roberts in the centre circle, back to O'Nien and across to Clark in the Sunderland half. 0-0 in these opening stages. We're in the 5th minute.
Don't lose it there.
And there's a free kick to Sunderland for a foul by Ngakia. No goals elsewhere in the Championship tonight. And Rotherham Bristol City kicks off at 8 o'clock. All those games just getting underway. It's Coventry, Blackburn, Leeds, Queen's Park Rangers, Leicester, Preston. Big one at the top, I guess. Sunderland, Watford, of course, Swansea, Norwich, and at 8, Rotherham Bristol City. Here's Ballard, gets the ball away from Bayo, cross here to Huggins, who gets the ball back from Roberts, out to Roberts again on the right, and into the middle now. What a lovely ball. That was a terrific ball to Hume, who now picks out Job, and they've got Clark on the left wing. Clark with Burstow in the penalty area. Clark takes it into the box on the left-hand side. Still going, trying to pull it back for Burstow and Job and Barr, but somehow Watford managed to dig it out, and finally Sirialta is pushed in the back by Job, and it's a free kick by Burstow. Sorry, there's a free kick to Watford. Great. Swansea have taken the lead against Norwich.
Great run by Jack Clark.
Wonderful pass to start it all off.
Yeah, from Roberts. Fantastic.
Carving Watford open. And here is Hood, all 6'2" of the Dutchman, swinging the ball across the pitch and out for a throw to Sunderland. Hume is across there now to take the throw. The 6th minute. This, of course, is applause for Bradley Lowry. Tony Mowbray's applauding as well down below us. The ball's out for a throw to Sunderland on the far side, and the Roker singing Bradley Lowry's name. Nil-nil, 7 minutes. Here's Dan Neil inside the Sunderland half. Out to Huggins on the right on the halfway line, back to Neil, and Neil back into the centre to Dan Ballard, and that applause is reinforcing just how much this football club comes together when things like the Bradley Lowry situation come to the fore.
Yeah, definitely.
Remarkable.
So.
Jamal Lewis back to the Austrian goalkeeper Daniel Bachmann, who's all in purple tonight. Austria, he's the first choice, I think, for Austria these days. Played the ball out wide to Ngakia, for West Ham United defender, into the centre to Loser, back to Bachmann, and he drives the ball forwards, the former Southampton keeper, and it's played back by Huggins to Patterson, who's all in yellow tonight, passes it out to Dan Ballard. 0-0 here in the 8th minute, 9th minute now, and Neil out to Huggins again, just in front of Tony Mowbray. Back to Ballard. Ballard, O'Nien across on the left, but it's played forwards to Hume. O'Nien goes and covers that left-back position when Hume drifts into the centre. Forwards to Clark. Hume takes over in front of him. The ball's loose. It's picked up through the middle by Deli Bashiru, laid off to Bayo, and Bayo gets it out to Shaq Travadze on the left in the penalty area. He's trying to weave his way past Huggins, who blocks him. It's played out to Clark on the right here, who's cutting across into the centre and plays a ball across field for Hume to chase. Just keeps it in on the far side and plays it back inside to Luke O'Nien. O'Nien drives a ball for Barr to chase, but the keeper, Bachmann's going to let it run behind for a goal kick. So certainly a change in tactics here, as Tony Mowbray alluded to in his press conference yesterday.
He switched Trey Hume there to deal with maybe the left to right balls in the air, because Trey Hume, to be fair, he's quite good in the air.
We're into the 10th minute, 0-0, live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Newcastle's game against Paris Saint-Germain kicks off at 8. That will be on FM. There's a foul in the edge of the centre circle by Hume, and
Tom Ince, is it?
Is it Tom Ince he's caught? I think it is. It's Tom Ince, just on one knee at the moment.
They jump over us. They leapfrog us.
Tom Ince, signed from Reading in the summer, as you mentioned earlier on. He played for his dad there. And the ball played out to Jamal Lewis on the left-hand side here. Whips in a cross, turned away by Ballard to Huggins, looking for Barr down the touchline, but intercepted by Hoot. Into Lewis, looking to try and get the ball through to Loser, but it's out with O'Nien with purpose, head down, sprinting on still, out to Clark on the left-hand side, inside the Watford half now, and O'Nien out on the touchline. Clark is going to play it back to Hume, who's just inside the
Sky Sports mix
on the left. Finds Burstow, who lays it off to Clark. Job sauntering into the penalty area. Burstow's in there as well. Nakakia tries to get the ball away and does. Neil, though, gets it from Hume. And Neil turns, loses Sirialta, plays it back to Hume, back again to O'Nien. And he's played it forwards, looking for Neil, who dives in front of two Watford players, gets it back to Ballard on halfway. And now across here on the right-hand side, right wing to Barr. Back to Huggins, back again to Ballard on halfway. Leeds 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0. Swansea still lead Norwich 1-0. 0-0 here. And O'Nien in the centre circle for Sunderland. Over the top ball, looking for Burstow, but a little bit ambitious. And it runs behind for a goal kick to Watford.
And that's where Sunderland have got to be patient. You've seen how the way Watford have set up. You know, they're going to try to make it difficult for Sunderland to break them down. And at times we will have to, don't try to force it.
Patience, but we've seen what they are capable of doing. Lovely play from Roberts and Clark again making one of those runs all the way to the goal line, pulling it back, but there were too many defenders for someone to tuck it home.
Thanks for the subscriber.
Ryan
Thank you very much.
Again, signed from Hibs in the summer. 11 years he'd been at Hibs. He had a spell at Edinburgh City on loan, but apart from that, always at Hibs, having moved there from Aberdeen. And Watford swing a ball down the right wing into the corner. Hume pushed in the back.
Yeah,
it's a free kick. Loser was the culprit.
Apparently there's a video going around where there's thousands of PSG fans marching through Newcastle singing Sunderland.
So Ballard bringing this out on the right into central midfield in the Sunderland half. Sunderland attacking the Roker end in the first half. O'Nien plays it across to Clark, back to O'Nien, rolls it across to Ballard, and Ballard out to Huggins on the right wing, looking for Burstow through the middle. Hoot gets above him, heads it straight to Barr, who flicks it on into the path of Deli Bashiru, and Sirialta plays it back to Bachmann, the goalkeeper. Passes it out to Porteous. Porteous has Ngakia wide on the
Both
right.
teams giving away
looking for loser.
both teams giving away a ball cheaply, like
lays it off to Ngakia, and then
scrappy
plays
passes
it back behind him to Porteous, and he swings it over here, looking for Lewis, but straight to Barr. Barr into the penalty, tries a shot, blocked by the ankles of Hoot, comes out to Dan Neil, trying to shake off Serialta and rolling it through, but straight into the path of Ngakia at the edge of the penalty area on the right, inside to Serialta, and now Deli Bashiru on the break over the halfway line. Still travelling with it through the middle, now rolling it behind Tom Ince, to his frustration, and Hume and Clark is able to go back, get the ball and bring it out here and play it through to Burstow. What a lovely ball. Lays it off. In fact, that was a poor ball in the end from Burstow, away from Patrick Roberts and back into Watford possession. Here's Porteous. Forwards to Serialta, back to Porteous, back again to the goalkeeper. Out here to Wesley Hoot. After last night's results in the Championship, Sunderland remained fourth. They can only stay fourth. They're 4 points behind third place. Here's Patterson passing the ball out to O'Nien, the right corner of the penalty area. And their red and white stripes against the light blue of Watford this evening. Huggins back to O'Nien, just rolls it along the 18-yard line to Patterson in his bright yellow. He passes it back to O'Nien. Huggins here on the right, Roberts just in front of him, trying to find Barr. Now he's done well, slips it past Hoot, just lost him with a dummy and into the penalty area, squaring it now into Job on his right, tries a shot, takes a deflection, is hooked away by Ngakia. Neil in the middle, and now Huggins on the right. Did he make the right decision there, Joe? Wrong decision.
Because he's brought it back into where the ball's just come out of, instead of just opening Spotty up, and he may be shooting with his left foot.
Yeah, here's Barr again. Roberts in the middle, trying to find a way through. Losers hacking at him. Roberts just goes round him, turns the ball out here to Huggins. Huggins, his ball in, hooked in the air by Porteous. It hangs there for a moment, comes down for Deli Bashiru. He's trying to get it away through Tom Ince. Hume is with him at the moment on the far side. Coming up towards the halfway line on the right. He plays it back to Ngakia. And Ngakia
Jurgen Klopp wants a replay.
To Francisco Serialta.
You could have hit it first time, even.
Yeah, I thought that was probably what he should have done. Serialta, former Udinese player. Of course, the Pozzos, who own Watford, own Udinese as well. Bayo. The flag has stayed down. He's been tackled though by O'Nien.
Hello,
Kirsty. Back into the penalty area to Ballard. Ballard bringing this out now for Sunderland. 0-0. We're in the 17th minute, live on BBC Radio Newcastle. And the ball back with Hume. Hartlepool playing tonight as well at Boreham Wood. 0-0 there. Here's O'Nien. Forwards to Job.
Hello, Kirsty Portrait. Ian Walker watching on Sky, so a quick thank you, DJ, for what you do. You're welcome, Ian. Enjoy watching the game. You're welcome to pop in here as much as you want. And another subscriber, thank you very much.
Again, shakes off Serialta, finds Burstow in the middle. Burstow laying it over to the left to Hume with Clark. He's left it for Clark. Clark taking this on. Tom Ince in front of him to the corner of the penalty area. Clark into the penalty area on the left, and he played it across, comes off the defender for a corner. First corner of the game, coming in the 18th minute. 17 minutes played.
Can Ballard score from it?
He could well do. He's strolling up here through the D. Roberts has gone across to take the corner at the left-hand side, and Tony Mowbray was at pains to explain how Ballard scores, the movement. It's a short corner to Clark. He plays it back, pulls it back to Dan Neil. Neil back out to Clark, wide on the left. Shaq the Tadzi's gone with him. It's come into the box and is headed behind by Porteous. Hurt and Porteous between them headed it to each other, and it went headed out for another corner.
Good ball in.
Cheers, Kingfisher. Thanks, mate.
So, will they adopt the same routine, or will they go for the same routine? Ball played back to Clark and to Neil. Neil swings the ball into the penalty area. It's headed behind again. by Hood. It's another corner. Third corner in succession. This from the right hand side.
Defending well,
now.
Watford. Like,
Roberts
they've got some big, massive defenders in there.
Take it.
But you feel as though we can score from set pieces now, don't we?
There is that feeling now.
Is there going to be another Cardiff game where Sunderland are going to find it difficult to break through?
Those others that do make runs into the penalty area. Job was the other I was thinking of. Hume and Job. I think should they be scoring more? Here's Roberts. Swings the ball in. It's not the greatest ball in. It's headed out from the corner of the 6-yard box fairly comfortably, actually. And it's a throw to Sunderland on the right. Roberts
the best bacon's
to Huggins.
Pickled pig feet's the best bacon.
Ballard, and then to O'Nien at the back of the centre circle. BBC Radio Newcastle. Out wide to Clark. Clark dribbling at Tom Ince in front of him, but Clark plays it back to Luke O'Nien, who just squares it into the middle.
Is Bird's-Toe playing today?
Ballard. And Ballard to Huggins. Shaq Fatadze on his shoulder, plays it back to Ballard, now to Huggins again. The Georgian goes to close him down, but he tried to thread it through to Barr. Deli Bashiru gets it to Bayo, and back to Deli Bashiru, then Shaq Fatadze on the left wing, wins a throw off Ballard. He leaves it for Jamal Lewis. 30 Northern Ireland caps, of course, a colleague.
Yeah, on next week's show, we're going to be talking and telling you how to poach an egg.
Waiting to take the throw, finds Deli Bashiru, who's under pressure from Dan Neal. He gets the ball back onto the halfway line to Porteous. He lays it off to his left to Hood. Wesley Hood back to Ryan Porteous in the middle of the Watford half.
A win tonight would be massive for us with our superior goal difference. It would provide a nice cushion for those in our
Hood. Trying to get it forwards to Shaq
We've got to, absolutely.
Back heel through
to top
Lewis,
two or keep the pressure. We have to start winning home games.
Area, drives the ball across the face of goal. Three coming through to try and get on the end of that, but it's sailed away behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, and you're just looking at, and then you're thinking, how many opportunities have we created?
2 or 3. I mean,
clear, you know, as the keeper.
Shout out to the Bella from Bozza.
Potentially, there's a threat. Ballard through the middle to Roberts, then laid off to O'Nien. Wide is Hume. O'Nien comes back into the middle to Ballard, then to Neal, back to Ballard, and then to O'Nien. And wide again on the far side, Trey Hume. Hume back to O'Nien. And back to Patterson.
Egg is a shout, I'll go with you,
back to O'Nien on the left of the Sunderland penalty area at the north end. And it's played on by Hume through the middle. A chase for Job. He's beaten to it by Deli Bashiru.
How far away is that?
And now Sirialta leaving it for Loser. Out wide,
no, I mean, how far the fixture?
He drives it back into the edge of the area, but straight into the path of Job, who finds Clark. Clark flicks it back inside, but it's short, and won by Tom Ince back to Hood in the centre circle, looking for Bayo, who finds Shaq Fatadze, and now he gets it back again from Deli Bashiru and plays it to Ryan Porteous on the halfway line on the right-hand side in the 22nd minute. We're about halfway through the first half. Ballard poking it away up to Joe, but it's come back down.
How are the lads? Bravo
here for Watford.
What's your thoughts, lads? 22 minutes
again,
gone.
Backing away.
What's your thoughts?
But a great foot stuck out by him and puts the ball out for a throw to Watford. Halfway inside the Sunderland half. Jamal Lewis will take it again. Shaq Fatadze is actually on loan from Ghent. And here he is again, leaves it for Lewis. Lewis being forced back by Barr. Back.
These are the home runs we need to get if we're even supposed to stay in the promotion. Absolutely, we can't just keep dropping points at home all the time, like we have been doing.
15 caps for Morocco. Imran Loser. Here now again, Hood. And he plays over halfway to Chakvatadze, and then
a very strong physical side, Watford, like the big players, the very big
just
players.
Coming up onto the halfway line, Loser in the centre circle again, closed down by Burstow, or by Job, who pushed him, and then across on the right-hand side again to Ngakia, halfway inside the Sunderland half. And Ngakia cuts inside, trying to find Bayo, leaving it. No, he's going to flick it through for Loser, but O'Nien hooks it high in the air, up towards the centre circle. There's a bit of manhandling going on, a little bit of pushing, where the ball breaks here on the left.
Happy birthday, Ant, I didn't know.
Back by Chakvatadze to his goalkeeper.
Is it your birthday, seriously?
We need to get hold of the game again, Nick.
Yeah, Watford enjoying a bit of a spell.
Yeah, they're starting to play their way into the game.
Happy birthday.
It's a little bit pedestrian at the moment as well.
It suits Watford.
It does.
They've been able to get a touch on the ball now. Grown with confidence, aren't they?
They are. Here's Hutt on halfway, out left to Chakvatadze in front of Tony Mowbray, inside to Delibashiru. Back to the George and back into Delibashiru in the middle of the Sunderland half, wide then to Ngakia, inch further forward on that right wing. He's wide, he's going to play it back behind him. Sterialta back to Porteous on halfway, squares it to Hutt and out wide left to Chakvatadze again, the 24-year-old who plays it straight through to Patterson.
Playing well, give a good game.
International record is good, actually, Chakvatadze for Georgia.
The game's gone a bit stale, hasn't it?
8 goals. His only goal this season, in fact, is for Georgia in a 7-1 defeat by Spain.
The last 10 minutes, like, it's gone a bit sort of...
Huggins on the right. Down the line, Roberts. Oh, a lovely turn from Delibashiru, just leaves him. And Roberts takes this away now, and still going. Another defender just shaken off. Sterialta, he gets it to Barr on the right. Barr back to Roberts on the right-hand side. And Roberts now, the overlap coming from Huggins, but it's cut out by Delibashiru. And a block on Roberts. Roberts' last touch throw to Watford. And Roberts can just open things up, can just get that.
He needs that extra link, doesn't he?
He needs Ahmad.
Yeah, well, you know, that's somebody who he bounced off, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's what he's missing. Lewis with the throw in his own half. Bayo heads it on, straight to Luke O'Nien on the halfway line, leaves it for Ballard, flicks it inside to Job. Job in the centre circle, taking this through the middle, then laying it off to his left to Hume.
Yellow card to Watford.
On the touch line, halfway inside the Watford half, back inside to Job. And Job across here to Huggins. It's Swansea 1, Norwich.
I was worried when we don't score early at home.
On the right-hand side.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. The crowd start to get a bit edgy as well.
Side.
The stadium like goes really quiet.
To Roberts, Neil behind him, squares it. Hume back to O'Nien at the front of the centre circle and across to the left-hand side to Clark. Closed down by Ngakia. He's going to try and come past him, and he's tripped by Ngakia.
Gotta be a yellow card.
It is a yellow card coming out here. First of the
sitting in Turkey,
was past him, wasn't he? Gone.
Can't get it on good at all. Well, I'm hoping you can hear everything fine.
So the 27th minute. A yellow card from Andy Davis. Leeds 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0 still. And I mentioned that Swansea 1, Norwich 1, everywhere else 0-0, and Boreham Wood Hartlepool 0-0 currently. And it's 0-0 in the Champions League between Newcastle and Paris Saint-Germain. Free kick then wide on the left wing, halfway inside the Watford half. Roberts will take it. Everyone pretty much in the D, actually.
I got 87% on me poll saying that will go for the win.
Here's
today.
Roberts' kick, and it's dropped for Job. He tried to flick it through for Burstow.
Hard game anyways, but I think
Hutt is fouled,
we will nick it.
The referee, and it's a free kick.
I don't know. I really just don't know. Load of bollocks. No, he doesn't.
As I said earlier, away at Cardiff on Saturday, and their next game then will be at home to Sheffield Wednesday, which could be a big game for the both of them.
Indeed.
Especially since Sheffield Wednesday, managed by the former Watford manager who took them into the Premier League. Kick from Bachmann, wide on the right, headed by Hume into O'Nien, who hooks it back over his shoulder down the left, and headed down by Porteous. And then forwards it comes straight through to Hume. Now, good ball through to Clark on the left. Has it opened up from his taking on Porteous. He clips inside of him, nearly tripped, finds Job in the middle, and Job does shoot with his left, but down goes Batman, and from 20 yards makes a comfortable save.
Yeah. You're going to say, why didn't you do that before?
Yeah, if he'd done that earlier, he might have.
He had a better opening opportunity.
He might have scored.
At least we've had a shot on target, Nick.
Yeah.
You know, we've had to work the goalkeeper.
0-0. We're in the 29th minute here at the Stadium of Light. Playing it out from the back, Watford through to Sirialta and Ngakia on the right, and Bayo ahead of him in the Sunderland half. Back to Sirialta and through the centre, Loser. Back to Bayo. Vacuum Bayo wants of Celtic. He leaves it for Ince, who shoots straight at Patterson. So he gets a shot away now as well in the 29th minute. Saves for both keepers at both ends within a minute of each other. 0-0. Passed out to Ballard. Out wide again to Huggins. Huggins back to Dan Ballard. Plays it to Patterson. The edge of his 6-yard box, closed down by Bayo. Out to O'Nien on the far side. He's taking this out down the wing. He's going to leave it, is he, for Clark? Clark plays it back to Hume. Hume back to Patterson. Patterson.
Forest fan, but my best mate is SAFC
out to Ballard. And Ballard wide to Roberts in front of Tony Mowbray. Back to Ballard. Ballard.
Love Job, he's an excellent player overall, and he's a lot of potential. I hope he scores tonight. I hope you win. Thanks, bravo, mate. All the best to you, fella. Cheers for the subscriber there, Trevor.
Watford,
thank you.
I think, will probably be the happier of the two teams at the minute.
Thank you.
Yes, they will.
Half an hour played. 0-0. Hutt heads it away to Deli Bashiru. Roberts is on his shoulder. He squares it to his right to Ngakia. Flicks it on to Tom Ince. Back again to Porteous. And then through to Sirialta, who plays it back to the goalkeeper. He's in his D. He kicks over halfway, Batman. It'll drop for Ballard. Loser was trying to chase through. And it's come back to Patterson. Short pass out to O'Nien, then out to Huggins. Huggins head down, trying to get it to Bard. Does.
He looks well, 55, doesn't he?
Bard inside now to Roberts, through the legs of the defender, but then blocked by Ngakia. And he tried to get it through. So nearly through then, Roberts. And Huggins comes back and heads it back to Patterson. Lovely move.
Oh, Newcastle scored against
Roberts,
PSG.
But again, final ball up to Burstow.
Newcastle's just scored against PSG.
To Hume on the left. Into O'Nien.
Almiron, 17 minutes.
To Job again. And
they're going to win the Champions League, you know.
Ballard. Here to Huggins. In the centre circle, Neil. Still holding it, playing it through to Job, who's looking for Burstow, but Hutt's got in front of him. Lays it back off to
Doug
the goalkeeper.
Bees just says the longer it stays 0-0, the harder it will get. It seems to be the case at the stadium I like at the minute.
O'Nien on the shoulder of Loser. He finds Job on halfway, trying to twist away from Sirialta, and he's done that effectively and played it back to Ballard.
Leighton's asking a question. Do you think we're missing Ekwar's physical presence in the middle of the park?
For Job, yes, he has undoubtedly got something. Job out to Clark on the left-hand side, taking on Ngakia. Job wanted it played through to him. It's played into the middle. It's too loose, and it's picked up by Deli Bashiru. He plays it off to the left-hand side here now, and Jamal Lewis trying to shake off Barr, who just lost his balance slightly. Deli Bashiru into the centre circle, runs into Job, comes back to Sirialta, and on the right of the centre circle he just taps it back to Porteous, across to Hutt. Hutt here has got well, he's played it straight through the channel left of
man.
midfield back to Patterson. 0-0
Stupid
still.
passes we're giving away,
you're
man.
Just looking at the game, it's
Simple,
a nice
simple
game at the
passes we
present
should be
moment. It's a
making.
nice pace, and you just think if
Come on, man,
Sunderland
lads,
up
get
the
switched
tempo,
on.
I think you go on and win the game.
No.
Yeah, it's not a Cardiff City game, but it's got a bit of that slow burn.
What do you think on United, Sky? I support them, and I think they're rubbish. I was disappointed. Are you talking about Man United there, Bravo?
Bayo
He's a very noticeable absence against bigger teams.
Down,
I think
across
he
to
is
Luke
now,
O'Nien on the far side. O'Nien on the touchline, plays it straight to Deli Bashiru in the centre of the Sunderland half. He leaves it for Sirialta, and then through to Bayo in the middle. Back behind him, Sirialta, and then Hurt and Porteous.
Just showing you that Joe Bellingham back flick there. He just didn't connect with the ball. Very good.
Back it comes to Hurt. Hurt wide left to.
Oh, we're at home though, aren't we? We're done though.
Trying to
That's the trouble.
Take it on corner of the penalty area. Low ball shot straight at Patterson in the corner of the penalty area.
It's like we're playing with like chains and shackles on every time we're playing at home, and then we're free from them when we play away. We seem quicker, we seem more agile, more alert, we seem to have more space. I've said this a lot of games last season. I don't know.
Get a little bit frustrated, and you've just got to keep concentrating. One lapse can cost you. There we go.
And here's Bayo with Chak Patadze to his left, and he's played it behind the Georgian down to the goal line. He's pulled it out. Behind for
terrible touch, man. Terrible touch.
It's what we call a wake-up call.
Come on, man.
You've got to up the tempo. Surely the players themselves on the pitch, they've got to up it. We're getting a little bit too sloppy.
So
frustrating with Sunderland at the minute.
35 minutes played live on BBC Radio Newcastle. The ball out wide to Huggins. Plays it inside into the middle to Hume. Forwards to Job. Bars in the middle with Burstow now, and Job has made a breakthrough here, but he's shown too much of it to Porteous, who gets it to Ince, back to Ngakia under pressure from Clark, who chases the ball back to the goalkeeper, who's kicked clear down the right wing, and it's headed in from the touchline by Hume, looking for Job, who's got it on the left here. Sirialta's got it off him and been awarded a free kick. Free kick to Watford. Foul on Francisco Sirialta. 26, he's at 6
Let's be right, you were all over Cardiff and should have had all three.
Sizable unit.
One of the best outfits the
played the ball back again
Thanks,
to
John.
Porteous.
It's just frustrating sometimes when we're...
Porteous to Bachmann, who comes out into midfield and then plays it out to Hut on this left-hand side, the Dutchman. He's switched it across towards Ngakia, and he's got it ahead of Clark and plays it on to Loser. Right-hand side.
I would just get the forward smothered in head to toe, crab pace,
flick
so
it
the
through to
defenders will get
Bayo.
anywhere
One
near
back by Loser, but a foul on Dan Neil. A free kick, and the free kick's been taken too
it's a strange
quickly.
game.
I
thought Sunderland did more pressing against Cardiff. We had more chances, but tonight so far,
Ballard will take the free kick.
a lot of the football's in the middle of the park with the occasional break forward.
Does in the end.
Both teams don't look.
Roberts. Back to O'Nien. Ballard here on the.
Both teams at the minute just don't look to be in a hurry to get the ball forward. Are both teams be happy with a point, do you think? Would you be happy with a point, lads?
Burstow, who slips and comes away with the ball. Burstow thought it was a foul, the referee didn't. And it's played up onto the head of Ballard. Comes back out again for Dali Bashiru. He's got Roberts behind him. He's played it inside then to Sirialta. Back to Hut. And Wesley Hut, in the 38th minute, plays it into the middle of his own half to Ryan Porteous. Newcastle have taken the lead against PSG in the Champions League.
Well done, referee.
Here's Hut again, and foot up towards halfway. He plays a ball across the pitch, looking for Ince. Hume has gone with him. Ince trying to cut inside of him, and he plays it back behind to Ngakia.
Sunderland are just getting
Ngakia's
knocked
shot
and
into
bullied off
box.
the ball at the
Comes
minute.
back from Loser out to
Two
Delibashiru.
times our players went down
At the
there,
moment, they're
referees
picking up
just
the
went,
second balls,
no,
Watford
no,
around
no.
the penalty area. Jamal
Totally
Lewis
got just bullied
swings
off the
ball
ball there.
in. Ballard will head it away, straight to Shaq Patadze, and then out from
Need all 3 points tonight,
Job,
about.
and he has
Bravo,
to get a
how do you
second
feel
stab
about
at it, but
No foul,
Delibashiru
no
goes
game.
down. No
Good.
foul, says the referee.
I don't know,
Neil's
it's
bringing this out,
frustrating. It's
flicks
frustrating.
it through to Barr here on the touchline into the Watford half, immediately closed down by Jamal Lewis, who wins it back and loses it to Roberts. Roberts.
See, you can
inside,
hear the
Lewis
tension in the
blocks
crowd. You can
No,
hear
he
the
doesn't, says the
anxiety, and I think that
referee.
plays on the.
Roberts
I think
sitting
that
on the
plays
deck.
on the players on the
Can't
pitch.
believe it wasn't a free kick.
It's like you
Jamal
can
Lewis
just feel the tension,
has it.
and you
Tony
don't get
Mowbray
that. You
doesn't
don't
believe
get
it
that. You
either.
don't get that when you're
And
away from home.
Delibashiru
More. There's
on
no.
the halfway line,
It's more
almost on
tension
the
on
centre
the
spot.
home fans on the other
Leaving
team.
it
So
for
there's no pressure on Sunderland. I think
Porteous
that has a
down the
hell of a lot to do with
right-hand
it when we're at home.
Cutting
You
inside.
can sense it.
Is
Like every loose pass, every missed pass, every overhit pass gets
the
you
stature
know.
of his dad, doesn't he, when he runs? You can see Paul Ince in Tom Ince. And here's Ngakia.
This has got another
wide
1-0
on
sneaky win.
right.
Watford, this
Crossing
has.
now for Bayo, but it's too deep.
So disappointed we
And
need
bounces once from behind for a goal kick. 40th minute. 0-0 here. Coventry 0, Blackburn 0, Leeds 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0, Leicester 0, Preston 0, Swansea 1, Norwich 1, Rotherham 0, Bristol City 0, but that kicked off at 8. Boreham Wood 0, Hartlepool 0.
But if I was a journalist,
Just
if I was a
mentioned
journalist, to
Newcastle
be out to write about this first
PSG
half, really.
0 in the Champions League this evening. The ball being played around at the back of the at the 18-yard line. Ballard Almiron was the scorer of the Newcastle
Free kick.
goal, and a free kick for a foul on Ballard by Bayo.
Oh, referee, for
This-
God's sake.
On the right.
Look at
15
Sunderland,
yards in front of Tony Mowbray.
we need to keep hold of the ball
5
better than
minutes
what
till
we're doing at the
half-time.
minute. Like, it's just
I don't think
our
we're gonna
first
get a
touch
huge
at the
amount
moment. I
added
don't know
on
if the
at the end
ball's
of the
covered in grease or we've got the wrong
first
free
45,
football
Neil
boots, but we
to
just can't
09.
seem to. Our first touch is
O'Nien
just
back
awful.
to Dan Neal in the middle of the Sunderland half, and he then plays it on to Job on the left, and Job
Join
to
us, we will
Neal
look after
again.
you.
Who
Right,
thought he
that
was
was
fouled, but it's played through by Loser to Bayo, and Bayo now trying to shake off
Great
Hume,
block,
who makes a
great
block,
block.
drops for Job, but it's straight back to Bayo. In the middle then, it's a foul on Cialta, I think. He's lying on his side at the moment, the Chilean. This free kick right in he's on his back now, right in the middle of the Sunderland half. 0-0. It's not quite happening for Sunderland at the moment. Francisco Cialta
Not quite happening for Sunderland at the moment, says Nick Barnes.
3 around the free kick in discussion, and Ngakia.
Get up, you
Shaq
cheating.
Loser, I think it is.
Barbarian. No.
Barr is
I'm on a
in
copyright
one-man
strike. I'm
wall.
going to be a good boy.
It's a central free kick, pretty much in the middle of the Sunderland half. Goalkeeper's Backman is strolling up to the centre circle.
There'll be somebody out there somewhere putting it.
Referee's happy
Crowd
now,
is getting
the line
restless.
of
I've been
defenders
saying that
just
lately, you're right,
inside the
mate, yeah.
penalty area. And Chak Patadze whips it up looking for Bayo. It's in the air, and O'Nien backs into Cialta. He's on his back and penalised, and it's a Sunderland free kick. It's one of those moments you just look at it and you think,
Yeah.
which way is it going to go here? But O'Nien.
No. If it's finished
possible
0-0,
benefit of the doubt.
you could walk out that ground and say,
Free
well, I
kick
can't
taken,
complain
played
with that.
across to Ballard here on the right hand side, and Ballard out wide to Huggins. Huggins back to Ballard.
Get in!
Georgie Chakpatadze, and then back into Patterson's feet.
Fucking go!
And Patterson drives us up through the centre to Burstow, and Burstow laying it off now to Roberts on this right hand side. Roberts halfway on the right, cutting across the centre circle to Luke O'Nien, and O'Nien leaves it just in front of him to Roberts, and Roberts driving it through here to Job on the left of midfield. He's cutting across the middle, finds Dan Neal just behind him, and out to the right here to Huggins. Barr is out wide, and Huggins has gone inside He's still going. He's up to the edge of the area. And he's still in the penalty area. What a goal!
What a goal! What a goal!
Has blasted one in the corner, and it's a beauty. An absolute beauty from Huggins. He just took it on. He travelled on into the penalty area and smashes it into the top corner. 1-0.
Doesn't matter. That's how good teams get results.
Positive, but what a finish that was.
That was fantastic. Wow, what a goal.
You've got to say that again. Fantastic. That's why he's been put on at right back
That's
today.
like for the win. Come on, that was a class goal, that, wasn't it?
He just got hold of it, took it on into the penalty area, and from the right smashed it across the keeper into the top left-hand corner. Sunderland 1, Watford 0, and Huggins gets his first Sunderland goal. Listen to the crowd react to that.
Honestly, it totally caught me off guard because it just didn't look like just come out of nowhere. It just come from nowhere.
Just a bit
all of a sudden, Huggins is through, bang.
And
but I did sneeze as well.
Niall Huggins, he's having a good run in the team at the minute. It's been a long time coming with all the injuries he's had, but he's capped it now with a goal. And
it's a lovely run. I actually thought it was Patrick Roberts running there.
Well. And Sunderland will go in, hopefully at the break, leading by a goal to 0. Sunderland 1, Watford 0. The ball nodded back to Backman by Hoot.
Well, don't do what the old Sunderland side used to do and
Dutchman
sit back
again.
and think we're going to sit back on this one goal.
And up towards Bayo on the halfway line and all the way back to the goalkeeper. The Austrian playing it wide down the right wing. Ince for Watford. They need to concentrate here. Ince again puts a ball in the box, headed straight to Chakfatadze, came down off Ballard, and he's played a low ball straight at Patterson. If he'd got any power in that shot, there could have been problems for Sunderland.
Yeah, definitely. So we switched off there.
It was well, a chance, and I think Chakfatadze will think he should have done better. But he hit it fairly lamely.
Well, I think it was, but it was a rocket, wasn't it?
Anthony Patterson, and it's still 1-0 to Sunderland.
Paul Mellish says, had my Bluetooth speaker on listening to your Gary nearly took me heat off. Sorry, Paul.
First minute of those two, Burstow's tackled. Deli Bashiru's coming away with the
stop sneezing.
Ball here. Leaves it for Loser and out to Ince on the right-hand side. Ince dribbling at Clark. Comes back and turns to find a bit of space, and now looks to find Bayo. First time ball out wide to Ngakia from him, and then whipped away by Dan Neil. Neil away on the left-hand side, being chased by Ngakia.
But I think that's been to Sunderland's advantage,
Neil
hasn't
finds
it?
Clark inside to Neil. Neil to Roberts, back to Dan Neil. Neil now looking for Burstow, but it's blocked by Porteous. The pass through, and now out from Porteous again to Chakfatadze in the centre circle, making a run down the right of central midfield. Leaves it to him. Goes to him. Ince will shoot. It comes up off the back of Luke O'Nien. Drops for Bayo at the edge of the penalty area, and O'Nien's still flat on his back.
He's out.
So the referee has stopped play. Went down quite heavily.
Just took the full weight of that.
I think he did.
On the head.
And is lying flat out on his back in the 47th minute, so expect a few more minutes to be, another minute or two to be added on, depending on what treatment Luke needs. On the cusp of half-time, Sunderland leading through that wonderful Niall Huggins goal. He'll treasure that one.
Well, indeed.
Who let the dogs out?
Certainly. People will. And that'll be on an endless loop for a while to come, as O'Nien's still receiving treatment and sitting up now. Hauled up.
Jeff Stoddart says typical Watford are going to nick this.
Just pushing his hands back through his hair as he strolls off towards this near side. In the 48th minute, I guess we'll have another minute at the end of this first half for that stoppage. And a drop ball on the left, it'll be for Jamal Lewis of Watford in these light blue jerseys, white shorts. And Andy Davis has his arm out with the ball. Luke O'Nien reaches the touchline, and the ball dropped at the feet of Jamal Lewis. Plays it into the middle to Ngakia. They come out to him, he's lifted it up into the penalty area, headed away by Hume. Out to Joe, but there goes the half-time whistle. So Sunderland will go in at the break here, leading by the goal to nil. And it had been, in a way, just like the Cardiff game, hadn't it? It had been a bit slow, a bit pedestrian, needed a spark.
We're on Sky again on Saturday against Middlesbrough.
And while we were all thinking it was going to be Roberts or Clark or something like that, it was unexpectedly Niall Huggins who produced the magic.
Yeah, indeed. And there's a little incident over the far side there.
0-0 will be good.
The referee's having
Is
a
it
go at the
Ngakia?
referee. Yeah.
Ngakia's unhappy about something. Bachmann has had to come back, I think, to have a word, and Bachmann is now having a word with the referee as well.
But just going back to the game, Nick, in regards of Watford, you know, they've set the stall out, you know, they've come here and, you know, they've come for a point, as simple as that.
Yes,
and,
yes.
you know, majority of teams now are going to come to the stadium, right, and put men behind the ball, and it's up to us to break them down.
Are you ready for the
at
half-time
times
socials?
It's too slow. We've seen that pedestrian. It needs a little bit of magic, a little bit more tempo, and we've seen that with Huggins. All of a sudden he's picked the ball up.
A lot of the people are saying for the goal, that was a rocket take about, been knocking about with
What
Jack
it's
Clark,
done
him
now,
like
though,
copying
of
him, he'll
course,
get done
has
for
meant that
copyright.
Watford can't afford to sit back.
He's been unreal since he recovered from glass leg syndrome.
It changes the whole outlook of the game now. They've got to come out and try to get back into the game.
By Huggins, great goal by Huggins. Birdstow really struggles to hold the ball up, I've noticed. Been saying it for weeks, Huggins get better every game. Certain going to have to be patient getting back in his game. Someone said what you've said, and advantage was there. Watford started pressing the last 10 minutes, making them more open at the back.
Indeed, now it's opened up. Now they've got the goal, Sunderland. Maybe the pattern of the game will change. Half-time here then at the Stadium of Light, the second half to come on BBC Radio Newcastle and SAFC.com. It is Sunderland 1,
Pies
Watford
ready,
0.
DJ.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
The last time Newcastle United were
think
in the
lads will
Champions
come
League,
second.
Ollie Bernard was playing.
Half
Ollie,
1-0.
how do you get ready
Get in,
for
boys.
a
Come on,
game
son,
as
I'm
big as
positive.
tonight?
Some people like to isolate, some people like to be in a group and start, playing cards.
I
I was one of the more quiet ones. I would put my headphone and listen to music.
A little bit like me, Ollie. When I used to play in the under-15 badminton tournament in Morpeth as a kid, I used to listen to Eye of the Tiger before. Can I just say, Ollie, I am in no way comparing my achievements in the under-15 badminton tournament in Morpeth to your Champions League football, mate.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Weekdays from 6. BBC Radio Newcastle.
So far, so good then at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland lead Watford by a goal to nil. That absolute belter from Niall Huggins 2 minutes before the end of the first half.
Smash the like button. Thank you,
The lead.
Kingfisher,
We'll be
for
back
the
with
win.
Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett very shortly for full commentary.
Anybody
of
new
the
on the channel,
second
just
half.
hit the
This is
subscribe. Just need one
of
subscriber, by the
6
way, to get
championship matches
1,540.
this evening. There were 6 last night as well. Not that many goals in the other 5 this evening so far, it is safe to say. Coventry and Blackburn are goalless. Leeds are 1-0 up on Queen's Park Rangers. Crescencio Somerville after 9 minutes. Leicester and Preston is goalless as well. So too is Rotherham against Bristol City. But Swansea City and Norwich City are drawing 1 apiece. Jamal Lowe for Swansea after just 3 minutes. Gabriel Sara equalising for Norwich midway through the first half. They all kicked off at 7:45 except for that Rotherham-Bristol City game, which was an 8 o'clock kickoff, so they've still got a good 10 minutes to go.
Kirsty's
until
just posted,
time. Last night, therefore, there were 6 games
Sheffield
in the
Wednesday
Championship
manager.
as well.
Yeah, the
Birmingham
Outer
City
Part
beat
company with
Huddersfield by 4
Cisco
goals
Muniz,
to
who
1.
leaves Hillsborough
A
with
couple in there
immediate
for
effect.
Dembele.
Yeah.
Miyoshi got Birmingham second as well. So Birmingham 4, Huddersfield 1. Ipswich Town continue their brilliant.
What the hell
start
did they
to
get rid of
season.
the
They beat
manager
Hull City
in the first
comfortably,
place
3
for?
goals
Anyway,
to
I
nil.
don't know.
Burns, Chaplin and Harness were their goal scorers. Middlesbrough's recent revival continued as well with a 2-0 victory over Cardiff City. Isaiah Jones and Emmanuel Latte-Lath both in the second half. Middlesbrough beat Cardiff by 2-0. Millwall won 2-0 away at Plymouth Argyle. Left it very late to make sure, though. George Saville in the 97th
Darren Moore was the
minute.
original manager of
Southampton won
Sheffield,
1-0
wasn't
away
he?
at
Got
Stoke
sacked.
City. Stuart Armstrong just before half-time.
Or did he leave?
And West Bromwich Albion beat Sheffield Wednesday by a goal to nil. And we'll come back to
that's something
Sheffield
behind the
Wednesday
scenes, that,
in
like.
just a moment for an entirely different reason. In the Champions League tonight at St James's Park, after about 38 minutes of that game, Newcastle United lead Paris Saint-Germain by a goal to nil. Newcastle United's first home game in the Champions League for 20 years, and Miguel Almiron, after 17 minutes, has given them the lead over the French champions. It's goalless between Borussia Dortmund and AC Milan in the other game in that group. Manchester City are leading by a goal to nil away at Leipzig.
Thanks for the
Phil Foden
subscriber,
after 25 minutes. In that group as
1,540.
well, Red Star Belgrade
Thank you.
1-0 up on Young Boys. In Group E, Celtic 1, Lazio 1. Kyogo Furuhashi gave Celtic the lead after 12 minutes. Lazio equalising through Matthias Vecino.
Who do you reckon's
in the
going to win
early
this?
game
Well,
in that
it's
group,
too early to
Atletico
call
Madrid
yet.
beat
In this
Feyenoord
game,
by
yeah.
3
So
goals to 2.
Sunderland, I mean, I'm not going to be
Alvaro
comfortable on
scoring
1-0.
Of Atletico's
Well,
3
I
goals.
don't know, so
And the
far.
other early game saw Shakhtar Donetsk win 3-2 away in Belgium against
No,
Royal
they don't look
Antwerp.
a threat, Watford,
It's
like,
goalless
but
between
I don't want to put a
Porto and
curse on it. But I
Barcelona
think
in
if we
that
get a second,
same group, there is one
you
game
know,
in
go
the
for the
National
jugular.
League
I don't want
tonight
Sun to
as
come
well.
out second half and
Hartlepool
sit
are
on that
away
one
in
goal
North
lead,
London
'cause
at Boreham Wood,
it's not pretty.
and that one goalless at half-time as well. But speaking of the National League, last night Gateshead came from a goal behind to beat Wealdstone 2-1. Conor McBride
He's never been a good
scoring
manager,
both of
him, really.
Gateshead's goals at the International Stadium, and brilliant goals they were too. Here is his
Newcastle
manager,
offside
Mike
goal,
Delighted,
apparently.
obviously, to come out and with the 3 points, but I thought I fully enjoyed the game. We've watched them, we know exactly what to expect, and it was just two really good teams going toe to toe, and just had a catch up with their manager, and fair play. Obviously, such a long journey, being part time, it's incredible. The style of play they have, but we both said, those are the games that you enjoy and relish, the tactical side of it. But it was just two full-blooded, wholehearted teams wanting to play the right way, and like I say, a really good advert for the league. I think it comes down to moments and the momentum. Obviously, we both want to play a very similar style, and
I would absolutely
the solutions out there for the boys, and then they've got to go out there and play with the bravery, regardless of the press, because both teams were all out pressing, probably till in the last 20 minutes in terms of the tiredness setting in. But no, I thought our lads were excellent.
I wouldn't complain with another goal,
we
mind.
were a bit wasteful in certain situations, but again, to go 1-0 down and continue that style and knowing what we want to do and how we want to achieve it, just stick to our principles, and then it paid off in the end, which is good.
And that is about as excited as Mike Williamson gets after a win, to be perfectly honest. But it's a terrific win for Gateshead again. They're up to 4th in the National League after 14 games. Altrincham are 6th, and we wouldn't normally mention Altrincham, but Gateshead take on Altrincham this Saturday afternoon, and we will have live commentary of it here on BBC Radio Newcastle. The build-up will begin once the Sunderland game finishes, so around about 2:30. And it is a 3 o'clock kickoff. Also last night, the Blythe Spartans out of the FA Cup after losing 5-0 away at Worksop Town in their third qualifying replay. All 5 goals coming in the second half as well. It was a bit of a disastrous evening. In the Northern Premier League East Division, Morpeth nearly mounted an extraordinary comeback. They were 4-0 down with about 25 minutes to go away at Ashton United. They brought it back to 4-3, but could not find an equaliser. And so they lose by 4-3 at Ashton United. In other football news today, the Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp says a replay of the Premier League match against Tottenham would be the right thing after Luis Diaz's goal was wrongly disallowed by the video assistant referee on Saturday. You may remember yesterday that the audio of that incident in the video assistant referee's room was released by the Premier League. Well, Jurgen Klopp was addressing the media today ahead of Liverpool's Europa League game tomorrow.
Yes, it was a mistake, an obvious mistake, and I think there would have been solutions for it afterwards. If not, I can say immediately, even probably some people don't want me that to say, but not as a manager of Liverpool so much, more as a football person, I think the outcome should be a replay. That's how it is. probably will not happen. The argument against that will probably be if we open that gate, then everybody will ask for it. I think the situation is that unprecedented that it didn't happen before. I'm used to wrong decisions, difficult decisions, blah, 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 all these kind of things. But something like that, as far as I can remember, never happened. And that's why I think a replay would be the right thing. And against the argument would be...
Good win for Newcastle, that mind if they get it.
I think a replay would be the right thing to do. Or the ref has the opportunity to bring both coaches together and say, sorry, we made a mistake. But we can sort it. Let Liverpool score a goal and we start from there.
BBC Sport understands that there is no realistic prospect of the match being replayed. Also in football today, the UK and the Republic of Ireland will now bid unopposed for Euro 2028, and one of those UK stadia involved in the bid is St James's Park. After Turkey withdrew, so they're
Newcastle are top of their group
at
the minute.
Italy for Euro 2032. They've merged their bid in July. That's now been approved as well. So both bids still need official approval by UEFA at the Executive Committee meeting on Tuesday, but they are very likely to pass. So too likely to pass is the 2030 World Cup allocation to go to Spain, Portugal and Morocco, but the caveat to that is that Argentina, Uruguay and Paraguay are all expected to host their own games at home as well. Their first home games first group games would be at home as well. So in theory, the competition taking place across 6 different countries and 3 different continents. Newcastle United have scored a second goal. They lead Paris Saint-Germain at St James's Park by 2-0. Dan Burn, he's from Blythe, and he scored at St James's Park in the Champions League. Newcastle United 2, Paris Saint-Germain 0, with about 5 minutes to go until half-time. A couple of managerial sackings in the EFL this evening, in the last hour or so, both of these actually. Bradford have parted company with Mark Hughes and his assistant Glyn Hodges. They've been in charge for 18 months, but the club saying that results since they lost the playoff final against Carlisle back in May have not been satisfactory. They say they are in the process of appointing a new manager already. Kevin MacDonald will take temporary charge. And in the last 10-15 minutes as well, Sheffield Wednesday have parted company with Cisco Munoz, so he leaves Hillsborough with immediate effect as well. Elsewhere in sport today, away from football, in the European North Basketball League, and we don't often mention that, never really mentioned it before, but it's a first venture into European basketball for Newcastle Eagles. They were away in Lithuania taking on Cholet. It was going well with about a minute and a half to go because they were leading by a point, 90-89, but then Cholet pulled away in the last 90 seconds or so to win by 94 points to 92. In snooker's English Open in the second round, Elliot Slessor won a deciding frame against Jack Lazowski.
That's how good teams
to
do.
The third round, he managed
get
to
promoted,
century breaks, but a break of 90
but they get ugly wins. Do you know what I mean? That's what they do.
Helping him to get through, he will play Zhang Anda of China in the third round on Thursday. And the One-Day Cricket World Cup begins tomorrow morning. England take on New Zealand in the tournament opener in India. There is a bit of a doubt, though, over Durham's Ben Stokes. We'll find out more about that in just a second.
Gone, has he?
The BBC's Jonathan Agnew has been speaking to the England skipper, Joss Butler.
We're at the start of a new World Cup, and it's about going out there and creating new memories and trying to win it again. I probably don't like the word defend either. I want us to attack as a side, and that's very much want us to attack this World Cup. A lot of experienced guys in our team who've played, a lot of guys have played over 100 ODIs, so a nice place to fall back on to
on
know
fire
what
the two. Yeah. I mean, you can't argue with it.
How long
said in the chat.
game is compared to T20, but we.
Would it be good for the North East, and would it benefit Sunderland anyway?
Try and attack when we get the
or
chance.
the North East in general, the further Newcastle goes in the Champions League.
His knee was a bit cropped, but it's his hip.
Yeah, he just got a little niggle with his hip. So I will obviously know more today and obviously ahead of training this evening. But it is a long tournament, so we won't.
Well, it's going to put the North East on the map more for football-wise, isn't it? I mean, how many times have we been like this non-existent and the big headlines with the North East? It's like
potentially, yeah.
Has it?
Harry could play in any team anyway, so he's a fantastic player. If he's required. That's not the right word.
There's no reason why they can't.
If he's playing tomorrow, he's a top player. I think he's obviously very young in his 50-over career, but the way he's taken to Test cricket and T20 cricket at international level, this is a format that will suit him down to the ground.
England against New Zealand starts at 9:30 tomorrow morning. There is commentary on BBC Radio 5 Live Sport Extra. And one final thing from cycling. Britain's Mark Cavendish has delayed his plans to retire. He says he is going to race in next year's Tour de France after all. He's signing a one-year contract with his Kazakhstan team. Right, we are going back to the Stadium of Light, where Sunderland lead Watford by 1-0. Full commentary of the second half coming up in just a moment with Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett.
Total Sport North East.
The sound of
Sunderland.
Embleton now trying to roll it through here. Runs back behind onto the right-hand side of Roberts. Roberts! Yeah! He's on fire! Excellent. Patrick Roberts. That's the game wrapped up for Sunderland.
Great sport kicks off here.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
And two changes about to be made by Watford as Sunderland come out for the second half. It looks like Ngakia, who was clearly in dispute with the referee when they came off at the end of the first half, he's been replaced by 19-year-old Ryan Andrews, who's the son of the former Watford striker Wayne Andrews. And Yasser Asprilla is about to come on as well. I'm trying to see who he is.
How can you be happy for Newcastle? You're a Sunderland fan.
I think it might be Tom Ince, but I'm not.
Yes.
It is for Ince, isn't it?
Yeah,
so yeah,
Tom
it is.
Ince,
That's been confirmed now that Asprilla replaces Ince, Andrews replaces Ngakia for the start of this second half, with
just nice for Sunderland to do it too.
Sunderland leading by a goal to nil.
I think it's a game, Nick, when you look at it, and I would imagine the manager, well, we all know about Watford and the managers and the change of managers. You know, I think this is the 8th or 9th in the last, year or 2 years?
Yeah.
He will be under pressure here. And I think it's a result which they need to get, don't they?
Even though he's just signed a new contract.
Well, look where they are
just
in the
reading
league.
on social media, there's a lot of people really a bit harsh on Bird's talk. I think they're being harsh. Or do you think he's just not cutting it at the minute?
It doesn't mean anything to Watford, specifically.
Yeah.
Here's Asprilla trying to flick the ball on past Trey Hume, who's still on the left. Clark through the middle.
We've all got mental problems.
Lovely ball out to Barr on the far side.
Yeah.
Barr dribbling. Jamal Lewis puts the ball down the throat of Hutt on the 6-yard line, who gets it clear. And then Chakva Tadzi knocks it out for a throw to Sunderland in the corner on the right, attacking the north end of the stadium in their red and white stripes. Watford in light blue. I think it's been raining, hasn't it, over half time?
Looks a little
forecast. It looks that misty feel. Here's Dan Ballard into Job, back to Luke O'Nien. The two sides divided by that wonderful Huggins goal just before half time. And O'Nien bringing the ball up over the halfway line on the left hand side here. And ball goes out for a throw on the right to Watford. And they get it up to the halfway line. Headed down by Hume to Dan Neal. Back through Ballard to Patterson, who's in yellow. Yeah, you can see the rain now through the floodlights drifting across the pitch. Look as though it's coming down a bit heavier now. Hume on the left-hand side. 47th minute. Driving on over the halfway line. He's taking this on still. He's got Clark to his left. Clark inside then to Job. Job into the middle to Dan Neal in the centre circle. Across on the far side to Huggins, who plays it back now to Ballard. And Ballard to Luke O'Nien. Closed down for a moment by Loser. Then it's played on up to Roberts, back inside to Neal, back into the centre circle to O'Nien, and down the left wing here to Clark.
You're getting deeper and deeper, man. Push up a bit.
He's reacted now. He's trying to hold off Andrews. Back to the halfway line, and then he rolls it back to Dan Ballard. Ballard. Short pass to Roberts.
48 minutes and 10 seconds.
To Dan Neal. Cross to Hume on this left-hand side. Back to Neal in the middle. And then behind him is O'Nien to Ballard. Back to Luke O'Nien. And O'Nien just squares it to his left. Hume.
I'm just going to refresh mine. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. Refresh.
At the edge of the
it's full time. We've won. Get in.
He passes it out to O'Nien again on the left. A reminder, Huggins is playing at right back tonight and Hume at left back. It's played back by Dan Neal to Patterson. He drives this out to the left, looking for Hume. Great ball played inside by Hume to Burstow, to Job, looking for Burstow, and Burstow lays it back off to Neil. Neil out wide to Barr, just inside the Watford half. He's got a run from Huggins down the right of him, but he's tackled, and Chakvetadze trying to get the ball forwards to Jamal Lewis, and it's knocked out by his Northern Ireland colleague Dan Ballard for a throw. Quickly taken. Deli Bashiru back to Sierralta, who lays it off to Porteous, coming up to the halfway line on the right here for Watford. Checks, plays it back into the Dutchman.
Clive Ingram says Saudi blood money.
Netherlands plays it on to Jamal Lewis, inside to Deli Bashiru, leaves it for Sierralta.
Oh, that's just what someone said in the
And
chat.
then back here to Porteous again on the right of the centre circle, wide to Andrews, being chased by Clark. High ball played into the penalty area. It will drop on the far side to Lewis. Brings it down in front of Barr. He's got Chakvetadze just behind him. He's on the corner of the penalty area, onto his right, finds Deli Bashiru, taps it to Loser, and he plays it straight at Patterson.
Yeah.
It makes a comfortable save.
Comfortable save there for Patterson. But we know that Watford have to come out to get back into the game. They do.
And Sunderland can be patient, but I'm sure they would love this second. And there's a foul on Porteous by Burstow, and a yellow card.
Referee, he's living up to his name. He loves the yellow card.
Burstow, the first Sunderland player in the book tonight. 5 minutes into the second half, Sunderland leading.
They're such a strange side, aren't they?
We're live on BBC Radio Newcastle. SAFC.
I didn't think there were that much when we played them at their gaff blind.
Taps it to Loser, Imran Loser, the Moroccan international, wide to Ryan Andrews, Watford born, back to the halfway line, and Porteous plays it across the centre circle to Hood. And he looks to play it through the middle now, trying to get it through to Sierralta, and then to Andrews on the right of the penalty area. Ball into the box.
Watford at the minute.
It comes off Neil and O'Neill, and then finally a foul on Roberts by the Chilean Sierralta. And a free kick, which O'Neill takes over to Huggins on the far side. Huggins up to Burstow, tried to let it run through past him, and it didn't quite come off. And it's come back now. Be played out to Sierralta, to Hood on the left-hand side, up to the halfway line. Coventry 0, Blackburn 1. Here's Bayo, edge of the area, shoots over the top into the Roker end. And
I laughed at that.
Goal kick.
Could have been 3 points, that.
In rugby?
Yes.
It could have been. Between the posts, over the bar.
Southampton will come good, mark my word.
Patterson with the two centre-backs either side of him. Which way does he go? He decided to go one, then the other, and then he's gone back to playing it out to O'Neill on the left-hand side. And he's bringing this out to Hume on the touchline, trying to get forwards, gets a nudge in the back from Andrews.
But
Free kick.
You know, Nick, while it stays at 1-0, Watford are still in the game.
Very much so.
Someone's just
O'Neill across to Dan Ballard. Ballard back to O'Neill. Back again to Ballard.
Someone just posted on the
Patterson
Facebook page. Can somebody tell me what Birdstore does?
Hume trying to get it forward. Sierralta gets it down to Andrews, who managed to get it squeezed out between three Sunderland players back to the Chilean, and in the end it's Job who wins it back and plays it back to O'Neill, and had to be quick because Sierralta tried to close him down and get through, and it's up to the halfway line, and it comes down to Deli Bashiru and leaves it for Andrews on the right touchline. Little flick forwards here from Andrews and Asprilla. Asprilla inside, blocked by O'Neill.
If you hate Newcastle, clap your hands. I remember watching Hurley and Montgomery playing at Roker Park, says Doug.
So The throw will be taken by Andrews. Asprilla close to him. Asprilla making a run into the penalty area. It drops here on the shoulder of Loser, and he's got to get round Job. But Job is fouled.
Good spell of pressure from Watford.
And a free kick to Sunderland.
Good strength. Take it from the right position.
Niles just tapped the ball back to Patterson. 54th minute. 1-0 to Sunderland. Out to Luke O'Nien. Across to Ballard. Forwards to Neal. And he's played it out wide to Huggins, looking for the run of Barr. Down the line, hooks it back again into the Sunderland half. And the ball's brought across the centre circle by Chakvadzadze. Back again to Porteous. He lays it off to Hutt on halfway into the Sunderland half, looking for the run of Deli Bashiru or Bayo, and it's headed behind by Ballard for Watford's first corner of the match.
Concentration, Nick.
Yeah.
First corner. No free headers.
We're in the 55th minute. Corner on the left at the Roker end for Watford in their light blue shirts, white shorts, and a little bit of movement around the penalty spot, a little bit too much movement for referee Andy Davis. He's coming to have a word, has the word, and then
Tony Mowbray is sponsored by Marks and Spencer's with his body warmers.
Into midfield. Then the corner taken short, whipped in from the left then, and a touchdown by Porteous, but it's blocked and it's come out into midfield. And the defender Andrews, who shoots from 25 yards, it's blocked, comes out again from O'Nien. And O'Nien's got his right arm raised. They'd seen something. The ball goes out, and the referee is blown and stopped play. As the ball, they're not happy with the ball.
It's burst.
A new ball.
Just change the football.
Which they have. Handed to the referee. He brings it across for a drop ball in front of Luke O'Nien. He drops it to O'Nien's feet, plays it across to Ballard. Out to Huggins. And he looks for a run.
Where man.
Hutt has to get across and smash the ball up into the east stand.
It's a great ball that by Huggins, getting him turned.
Throw to...
Come on, man.
Sunderland more than halfway inside the Watford half on the right-hand side. Drops back here to Roberts, back again to Ballard. Into the centre circle to Luke O'Nien. Luke O'Nien taking it across to the left-hand side, laying it off to Clark, who drives it straight back to Patterson. Patterson passing it out to Ballard. Forwards to Neal. Nearly got caught. He was caught by Deli Bashiru, who gets the ball to Loser. Back to Deli Bashiru, and Deli Bashiru again to Loser again in the D. He's trying to get into the D. He's blocked, and then gives the ball away to Roberts, Ballard, and out to Burstow. Burstow's tackled and brought down by
yellow card to
Hutt.
Watford.
And it's a free kick on the right of.
We've got to
by Surrey Alter. It's a free kick on the
Give
right.
Give it the 65th minute, I would say.
Afford to get sloppy.
It was a press, wasn't it, from
yeah,
Watford, and they got caught.
You know, you can sense that Watford, well, you know, Watford need to get back into the game. So they're going to take chances. Yeah. They're going to press further up the field.
Here's Job on the left,
wide
on the left, just inside the Watford half. Plays it into the path of Hume. Hume, he's tripped by Deli Bashiru. And it'll be another card here. He joins Nagakia from the first half in the referee's notebook. Bashiru was trying to plead innocence. And this is just left of centre, halfway inside the Watford half. Clark is over it. Roberts is sauntering across to the free kick. And the pair of them now, it's going to be Roberts as Clark
I want to get the
Sunderland towards the edge of the
class.
penalty area. Sunderland leading 1-0. Watford holding a line on the
I think it's brilliant. It's my favourite colour.
line. O'Nien's come up alongside Roberts. And Roberts dinks it up into the box. Ballard! Just over the bar.
He'll be disappointed with that, Ballard. He's got there. If he could have kept it down. Fortunate, good ball in.
So 1-0 still to Sunderland. Leicester have just taken the lead against Preston. It's a goal kick for Watford. The ball on the left edge of the 6-yard box, tapped back to Daniel Bachmann, out into midfield and back to Porteous from Sierra Alta, up to Bayo. It comes down though for Huggins, finds Roberts, leaves it for Barr. Jamal Lewis on his shoulder, wide on the right. Barr has support from Roberts and from Huggins. Barr still has it, but it's flicked away by Deli Bashiru, but straight to Dan Neil. Back out to Barr, he's tackled, and it's a throw to Sunderland over on the right wing. Still leading 1-0. Up to the hour mark, pretty much, and the ball thrown back to Ballard, wide on the right, back to Luke O'Nien, back to Ballard. Still raining here, and the ball lifted up for the run of Barr, but it'll come back to Bachmann at the corner of the Watford penalty area on the left, and in purple he rolls the ball out to Porteous in the light blue of Watford, back to Bachmann, the 29-year-old Austrian keeper, out to Porteous again, and through the middle. Sierra Alta. It's a heavy touch, but he's recovered and gets it back to the goalkeeper. It was nearly intercepted by Burstow, and now trying to win it back again off Sierra Alta, Job and Burstow, and the Chilean just manages to keep to his feet and keep the ball, but it's got back to Job. Job rolling it into the centre to Neil, rolling it to Barr in the penalty area on the right, and he plays it across the 6-yard box.
Is it? Corner.
It looked to me like he got a touch, and the assistant indicates that it did, for a corner to Sunderland.
Get in! Get in! Get in! Get in!
So a corner. Sunderland's fourth, but the left side at the north end. Clark will take it.
Achoo!
61st minute, taken short to Roberts. It's back behind him to Clark. Clark with his right crosses, headed out by Deli Bashiru straight to Neil, and he's trying to roll it down here on the right of the box. It's played in towards Job. He heads it just round.
Oh yes!
Barr!
Well done, Barr. Fantastic. Great spring.
At the far post, has nodded it home. Sunderland 2, Watford 0, and Barr in the 61st minute puts the finishing touch to it.
Excellent. And you're thinking that the goalkeeper was favourite to get that, but what a fantastic spring that was from Barr to get up there. Good header.
Would you be happy with the point, lads?
Got the header back in. Watford failed to clear, and it was Barr who followed up and bravely threw himself at it at the far post. And Sunderland doubled their lead. And the stadium is rocking again. And that really does put Watford on the back foot. The Sunderland fans enjoying this. 2-0 up. Barr with his second of the season.
Excellent. We needed that second goal, didn't we?
Did. Just lifts a little bit of the pressure, the little bit of that sense that if Watford score,
would you be happy with the point now, lads?
Trying to get themselves back in the game could make life difficult. But now here is Dan Neil in the centre circle, back to O'Nien, lifting one over the top, looking for Clark down the left, heads it down. Andrews has gone.
I like
with
the
him.
Sunderland
Clark
chant.
gets it inside now. Roberts, he curls the ball into the penalty area, stabbed away by Hoot, only as far as Job. Deli Bashir is all over him, surely. And a foot in from O'Nien, comes back to Sierra Alta, out to Aspria, and then on to Bayo on the halfway line. O'Nien tries to get the ball off him, but Bayo gets it back to Porteous. Porteous back to Bachmann, and then now to Hurt, who's bringing this up towards halfway, the Dutchman for Watford, and lifting it over the top, down the left wing for Jamal Lewis to chase. Barr has gone with him into the touchline and just manages to shuffle the ball out for a throw to Watford.
Do you make any changes, lads?
Long range effort from just outside the box, over the top, whistles over the bar, and there's going to be a double switch. Dele Bashiru's coming off. Reece Healy is coming on.
Healy and Kone.
Yeah, they are.
Ismail Kone.
Ismail Kone, yeah, Canadian. And the other is Chuck.
Come on, lads, don't get too sloppy at the back, man. Keep switched on.
Chuck Fadadzi's going off. So Dele Bashiru and Chuck Fadadzi off to be replaced by Healy.
Get a third, lads. Kill these off, eh?
Reece Healy, signed from Toulouse B in the summer, the forward. And midfielder Ismail Kone. In the 65th minute.
Not again.
Sunderland
Not
leading
another one.
2-0.
Is this the qualifiers?
Challenge on Ballard by the substitute Healy, but he's got it clear, Ballard, and it's picked up by Roberts on the far side.
England and Ireland's been guaranteed the Euro Championships 2028.
Watford half still has it. He holds off a challenge from Kone, gets the ball out to the touchline. Huggins back to Barr, and back again on halfway to Ballard, and then O'Nien.
I hope the new signings are feeling it. Class 3 months back we had no strikers. At the moment we don't need any superb, says Leighton. Get rushing on, I think you'll do decent.
It's worked out to the right
says
wing
Bravo,
here.
SFC, Sunderland, love
back
it,
over
Leighton
the
Mills,
halfway
and we
line.
still have half a dozen players to come back
Forwards
from injury.
Then to Kone. Kone in the centre circle. 21-year-old, signed from CF Montreal last year. Here he is again on the left, looking for the run down the left of the penalty area by Lewis. It's come off Lewis for a throw to Sunderland. The Blackburn goal against Coventry has been chalked off. So Coventry 0, Blackburn 0, Leeds 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0, Leicester 1, Preston 0, Swansea 1, Norwich 1 in the 8 o'clock kickoff, Rotherham 0, Bristol City 0, Bournemouth. And Hartlepool is still goalless, and in the Champions League, Newcastle lead PSG 2-0. Ball onto the head of Hutt, forward straight to Dan Neil. What a pass he was trying to make for Clark, never quite came off. Tried to drive it across to him on the left wing in front of Tony Mowbray. Throw to Watford on the right. 67th minute, Sunderland 2, Watford 0. Ryan Andrews with the throw into the middle. Strealta, he's brought it down in front of Barr, has got away from him and plays it across to Lewis on the left, and he's over the halfway line, and he's got Kone ahead of him, and now he's played through to the left edge of the Sunderland penalty area. Healy is trying to work it in. He's got behind him Kone outside the box in midfield. He's driven it across the pitch, and it's going to roll away and out, away from Andrews for a throw to Sunderland. Hume coming across to take it. So far, so good. Maybe a risky ball played back by O'Nien to Patterson, being closed down by Bayo, but Patterson gets the ball away. Roberts has it in the centre, plays it back to O'Nien, still in the Sunderland half, again through to Neil. Back to O'Nien.
They're going to make a substitution.
There's a change being made. Who's it underneath the perspex there in the rain as Joe Plays it into the middle from the left wing to Ballard. It's a bit awkward. In the end, Roberts has to win it for Huggins. Back to Ballard.
Are you disappointed with their hand?
Back to Patterson to kick clear. I was thinking Ashish. Is it Ashish? Is it Rusin?
Rusin, maybe.
There's a 2 certainly in the number. Rusin's at 15, isn't he? So it's not Rusin. I think it might be Ashish.
Ashish.
Yeah, he's just sort of like sitting in the background, isn't he?
Will Tony Mowbray be having half a mind towards Middlesbrough? Keep Jack Clark fresh as the ball put out by Huggins off.
2-3 3-0 up. Wow, they're having a good night.
On the far side. 2-0 up. I wonder if he's thinking, right, let's get Clark off. Keep him fresh for the weekend.
Might even be Roberts.
Roberts, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be Roberts.
We're in the 70th minute.
Injury, isn't he? He's just coming back from injury.
I think O'Sheesh is coming on.
And ball goes behind for a
Patrick
goal
Roberts coming off.
Sunderland. She should be the first substitution made by Tony Mowbray. He's come to the edge of the pitch as that Huggins just crouched down on the far side at the moment and gets himself up on his feet. Patterson's placing the ball. Ballard and Bayo arms round each other. It's Roberts, you're right, who's coming off. Played 70 minutes. Ashish replaces him. Roberts applauds. The crowd's appreciation of him as he leaves.
He's done well in there, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Things ticking over.
Worked hard tonight. And Adil Ashish comes on.
Got to say, he's looking better and better each game.
He does. He's got a bit of quality, hasn't he? There's no question of that. It's whether they can find the consistency from him. Here he is, or Hume is, trying to get the ball through the middle. It comes out to Neil. Neil now looking for Burstow, and he's blocked, was he, by Hurt? No, says the referee, who just glanced at it and let play go on, even though Hurt just blocked. Burstow knocked him to the floor. Well. Hurt has it again, trying to get it away. He's given the ball away, and now it's a possible break for Ashish into the area, under the keeper, and just tapped off the line by Porteous, who got back behind him. A little bit more power in the shot from Ashish, and that would have been a third for Sunderland. Wonderful run.
I think that's belief.
It was a mistake by Watford, which led him in, the interception. And then eventually at the other end, it's headed away. Ballard down to Ashish. Foul on Bar.
Are you guys comfortable at this then?
It's still Sunderland 2, Watford 0, live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Ballard will take the free kick, and the referee's running across his. What's the issue here? The referee Andy Davis is coming down to the touchline. He's going to show a yellow card to Mike Dodds. Not happy with something Mike Dodds has said.
Keep calm. Let's get 4 or 5 maybe. Let's do this. Imagine in the World Cup 2026, Bellingham playing alongside each other.
Dodds having a word. Mike Dodds having a word with Simon Maver, the fourth official. Tony Mowbray standing out in the rain in the technical area.
Oh, that's good defending by Watford there, like.
Valerian Ismail standing out there with his hood up. Here's Joe playing the ball to Ballard. Ballard, a run on here, up to the halfway line, laying it off now to Ashish. He turns and plays it back to Huggins on the right, back again to Luke O'Nien in the middle of the Sunderland half. In the 73rd minute, out to Job here on the left-hand side, a Spreer on his shoulder, and Job's got away from him. Lovely ball through to Hume. Hume trying to get through here now. Hume into the penalty area. Oh, was he brought down? I think it was a good tackle. Clark tries to shoot, it's blocked. Out it comes to Loser. up at the edge of the centre circle, and a free kick to the Moroccan, who just pushes O'Nien away. He's going to get booked for that.
Excellent, Luke O'Nien.
I mean, Luke dived away, but there's no question he was pushed. And the goalkeeper's shown a yellow card as well, and so is Loser. The Loser.
Is that the genuine Sunderland FC one and all? You shouldn't be getting buffering from SCFC.
A little bit Watford, aren't they?
Yeah.
You can see it.
2-0 Sunderland lead. This free kick just inside the Watford half. Going back to Hume's run, I mean, terrific run into the penalty area. I mean, he dived over the tackle, but I mean, in fairness, you know, the ball was taken and Hume followed. I don't think there's any quibbles about that. Leicester 2, Preston 0. Leicester, they're looking strong at the top now, aren't they? Here is O'Nien at the back, and a chase for Bayo, back to Patterson, but Patterson gets the ball clear. Job heads it on, looking for Burstow.
Watford players are starting to drop like flies now. Like
heads it forwards again. Loser.
They're going to the floor with every single tackle.
And a bit frustrated. Imran Loser. Back to O'Nien across the face of Vakun Bayo to Patterson. His kick up over the halfway line, looking for Barr, who gets on the end of it, but it drops for Porteous at the back of the centre circle, and he plays it across to Andrews.
PSG have
on to
scored.
Alter again, out to Asprilla, who's
Newcastle
trying to get it through
3.
to Loser.
Paris Saint-Germain 1.
Free kick for a foul on this near touchline.
Thanks for them updates, SCFC Sunderland.
On Asprilla, I think. Valerian Ismail stands with his arms outstretched right in front of the referee.
Yeah, that's a server issue, that ant at their end, isn't it?
We're going to make another change now. Mileta Rajovic, the Dane, is going to come on. Dropped for this game. He's going to replace Loser, and I think that's probably because Loser's losing his...
He's losing his head.
Yeah. So Rajovic, who signed from Kalmar in the latter part of the window. He's already got 8 goals for Kalmar this season, but 3 for Watford. What's the referee now? What's happened over there? Huggins went down on his knees. Porteous is being spoken to. Hurt and Huggins. And this free kick then will finally get taken by Asprilla on this right-hand side. Left-footed, swung up to the edge of the penalty area from the touchline over everybody's heads, and it will run away in the corner for a throw to Sunderland.
Shut up, number 19, claiming that.
I think they're going to make another substitution
Give
down there. I think
there's certainly discussion taking place, isn't there? And here is Ryan Andrews in the middle of the Sunderland half, lifting one up, looking for Bayo. It's come off him. He's arguing, he's appealing for the corner.
Well, I've seen some corners in my time, but that one, crikey. What the hell was that?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't want to be pulling a goal.
Wait, you see this Watford corner?
Suddenly making the last 10 minutes or so a little bit iffy. Sunderland will be 4th if it stays like this. Norwich have come up to 5th.
So,
unless they...
Watford are cranking it up, you like the
Sunderland's goal difference is
better. Drop another gear, you like. It's
right across the penalty area and out for a throw on the left-hand side.
Sunderland just need to weather this little bit of storm.
I thought it had. I don't think it did. I think it went through the 6-yard, over the 6-yard box now. So should be that Sunderland remain 4th tonight. Andrews forwards to Asprilla, blocked by Hume, gets the ball away, but to Serialta, back to Porteous on the halfway line. in the centre circle. Hurt now, and he's turned away from Sheesh.
They're just doing what Burnley did last
again
season.
Down the left wing, looking for Lewis. Barr is with him, takes the ball off him, and then slips. And was he touched down by Lewis? His free kick for Sunderland. On the right. We're in the 79th minute. Sunderland 2, Watford 0. Goals in both halves. Huggins in the 44th minute, Barr in the 61st minute. Out
Sunderland can't get the ball off Watford at the minute.
The free kick wide on the right hand side. And he drives this up into the Watford half, up towards Burstow, headed back to Job, on again, and Porteous lets it just glance his chest, and Andrews plays it back to the goalkeeper. He kicks it over Burstow, back up towards halfway, straight on the chest of Hume. It comes down
thanks
to
for the
Andrews
subscriber there,
inside
thank you.
Kone, and he's going to play it through to Bayo. And now Serialta in the centre circle, tackled by Joe, but they win it back. Healy has it, he's tackled by Hume. Neal now out to Barr, wide on the right, inside the Watford half, trying to cross into the path of Ashish, and it will roll out for a throw to Sunderland. On the right.
Does Sunderland, are they deserving their 2-goal lead at the moment?
Do you think we'll say Roussin? You think?
I wonder. So. I think we might, mightn't we?
I think we'll see Roussin.
Where do you think he'll play? Do you think he'll play on the left?
He'll play on the left. Himir will go up.
Would you say?
That's what I think.
Would you say Sunderland are worthy of that 2-goal lead?
They're both warming up. So, back here's O'Nien in his own half, just in the middle, through to Job, and then laid off to Ballard. Back to O'Nien, forwards to Job. Serialta trying to get the ball off him, plays it back to O'Nien. O'Nien on the left as a foul by Rajovic on Luke O'Nien. Free kick wide on the left, just inside the Sunderland half.
What Sunderland are doing well here, they're getting a lot of free kicks. You know, a lot of they're playing for these free kicks and they're getting them, so they're playing well here at the minute. Like it's clever play by Sunderland.
Approach full time. Joe playing it back to Ballard, away from Rajovic, out to Huggins on the right, back to Ballard, and he lifts it up to the halfway line. Hutt.
Do you think it makes a difference being midweek?
Huggins now to Ashish. Kone is trying to get the ball off him on the touchline. Ashish did really well there actually before he's pulled down.
Well done.
And a free kick just inside the Watford half. BBC Radio Newcastle. Ball coming back, Ballard here to Patterson. Patterson, O'Nien to his left. And Patterson elects to kick it out.
Watford's heads have gone down here, like.
And headed on by Ashish. Nobody there. And
oh, that's a good run, that, Clark. Well done, son.
Here with Porteous. Up to the edge of the Sunderland penalty area where Hume clears. Now up into the centre circle. We've got Burstow taking this on down the left to an onside Clark. Clark now into the middle. Clark still going. Clark, edge of the area, brought down by Porteous. Another card for Watford.
Red, is he off?
Was that? No, I think it was a yellow. I think it looked as though it was a double movement, but he's not been booked before in the game.
I've just realised Pritchard's not on, is he?
For a minute then, had he been booked earlier? I hadn't got a note of that. I think it was just the yellow. It's not gone off, so I mean, it obviously was.
Good run by Clark, though.
Fifth Watford player booked. An opportunity here for Sunderland.
Ashish fancies this, doesn't he?
He looks like it, doesn't it? Ashish and Barr. It's just right of the D. Referee just moving the wall back. Clark, unusually, he's not been on the score sheet yet. Still 7 minutes to play. Clark just to the left of the D. Hume jogs up to
see what he's got in his locker. Come on.
Now Sheesh and Barr, which Frenchman will deliver? The referee paused a moment. Bit of pushing going on in the penalty area. Sheesh with his right dinks it onto the wall, onto Hoot actually. Comes back out eventually for Barr on the far side, and Barr plays it back to O'Nien. O'Nien into the centre circle to Ballard. Ballard pushing it on to the left to Job. Job out to Clark on the left wing. Clark taking on Andrews, slips it through into the penalty area to Burstow. He tried to drive it in, and it comes off the feet of Kone over the roof of the net for a corner.
Great pass.
So may not still be over yet. Swansea 2, Norwich 1. So Norwich, who are pushing up to the top 6, losing 2-1 now. Short corner. Sheesh's cross, punched down by Batman, straight to Luke O'Nien. Lifting it back into the penalty
Coventry
area.
have not had a red
Overhead to
card.
both
Like the
Barr and
amount
Sheesh.
of free kicks they're giving away is
For a goal
unreal.
kick.
Are you welcome, SCFC Sunderland? Yeah. I mean, sorry,
85th minute.
Watford is because they're playing in
2-0
the
to
Sky
Sunderland.
Blues. Thanks for the stream, mate.
In the centre circle, Job went down. It looked like Surrey Alta had pushed him down, but the referee doesn't think so. And Huggins is on the break again. Huggins on the right, out to Barr. Barr now, the corner of the penalty area. Lewis and Surrey Alta in front of him. He turns away
Thanks
and
for
plays
the
it back
subscriber.
to Huggins.
Thank you.
Huggins now, pushed over without doubt by the Chilean on the far side. And a free kick again to Sunderland. A couple of yards in from touch on the right. Be quite sweet if Burstow could get on the end of one now.
Yeah, they are. They're nothing special, are they?
Get his account opened.
They're nothing special at all.
2 Frenchmen over the ball again, but Barr is going to leave Sheesh to take this. 2 in the... No, he's not. He's jogged back. It will be Sheesh, though, who takes the free kick. The referee's happy, I think. Here he comes, right footed, drills it in. Nearly found Burstow, but Hood had to get in front of him and head the ball out at the corner.
And what did I say just before about fouls?
Barr will leave the throw for Huggins to take.
But Ryan Andrews has been sent off for Watford.
Corner on the right. 86th minute.
Yep.
The ball drops to the feet of Neil. Back out to Barr on the right.
And I said 2 or 3 minutes before this incident, I'm surprised there's not a red card. The amount of free kicks.
To Luke O'Nien, he squares it here.
Oh, and he's just punched the tunnel on the way down.
Getting it through to. Oh, there's a foul here on. It's a red.
Thanks,
red
Bravo.
card for the substitute Andrews. Straight red. He can't believe it, but he caught Clark and he's been sent off.
You mentioned that they're losing their heads.
Yeah.
Come on in the chat.
19-year-old.
Thumbs up for the
Ryan Andrews.
for the team's performance tonight and Tony Mowbray.
His tackle on Jack.
Leicester 3-0.
And
kicked the bottle
as
away.
he came off the pitch. Watford down to 10 men.
Man of the match, lads. Man of the match. Man of the
5 in
match.
book.
Man of the match. Who would it
Another one
be?
Sent off.
They're going to make a substitution, someone double.
And yeah, you're right, Hamir, and it'll be Rusin, won't it? We'll come on for the final few minutes of the game. Sunderland leading.
Thanks for the
2-0.
subscriber. Thank you.
Watford with 10 men. O'Nien pushing it out to Neil, then to Ballard. Matter of minutes left here.
Who's your man of the match, lads?
Amir
Would you
and
say?
Rusin will be the 2 who come on. Just to see it out. Back to Patterson.
Sheesh has done very, very well since he's come on, mind. I'm not saying man of the match, but he's really done well.
Back to O'Nien, across to Ballard. Water splashing up off the surface of the pitch now. It's been raining quite heavily through the second half. Joe back to O'Nien.
Starting to get all layers from the crowd now at the Stadium of Light.
O'Nien bringing it out now. Head down. He's still going through the centre circle, Luke O'Nien, and O'Nien then rolling out wide to Barr. Barr inside to Aushish. Burstow calling for it. Aushish still going, leaving it for Barr at the right corner of the penalty area. Oh, he tried to flick it in through past Hurt, but it's come out to Aushish. Aushish now trying to work his way in, and he plays it back to Huggins on the far side as Hamir and Rusin waiting to come on down below us. Into Joe, back to O'Nien in the centre circle, to Hume here on the left of the centre circle, back to O'Nien, on to Neil on the halfway line. Now Sheesh looking to get it.
Huggins' goal was good, and I think that changed the game. That goal, I think. Watford's heads went down, but it was a really well taken goal by Huggins because he had to work
he
for
gets
that.
into the penalty area. Asprilla gets the ball off him and then plays it out to Kone. Back to Asprilla on the right-hand side here, and he's driven it up looking for.
Yeah, I'm going for Huggins as well.
Frontman Rajovic, but cut out by O'Nien through to Job. Job.
Yeah, thanks for everybody who's supporting our channels tonight.
Foot stuck out
who's
by
popping in.
And away comes Watford again. And
that was not a foul.
Healy made a meal of that.
That was not a foul.
He threw himself down, didn't he, Rhys Healy?
Yeah.
The referee's been duped.
Two
now,
substitutions coming off now. Birdstow's coming off.
The change made there. Clark's coming off for Rusin.
Coming off for Rusin. Yeah.
And Clark just pauses to pull his socks up, and Daniel Bachmann's going spare here. The goalkeeper, Watford goalkeeper, is raging at the fourth official.
They've got to make the substitution.
Yeah.
They've got to make another one.
Clark.
Ooh.
Here's Burstow's coming off.
Don't know who's man of the match because I can't see the game.
Applauds the crowd. Daniel Bachmann will take the free kick.
Six minutes of added time. DJ's man of the match.
Sunderland lead 2-0. We're live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Here's Bachmann with the free kick. Floats it up into the penalty area. Patterson comes for it, couldn't get to it. And, well, it's dropped for... Luke O'Nien threw himself out to try and head it out, but it was going wide anyway.
Well, I'm going to celebrate my win, this win tonight with some nice pigeon breast for tea. A late tea.
So goal kick to Sunderland in added time. Watford down to 10 men. Here's Patterson from O'Nien, and then out to Ballard.
Happy with the point, Hans?
Ballard wide, then to Huggins. Huggins bringing it up to the halfway line, looking for the run of Hamir. Hood heads it away. Jamal Lewis keeps it in, slips it inside to Kone, across to Asprilla here, and he plays it back to Porteous in the middle of the Watford half. Out to Asprilla again on the right. Rusin trying to get it off him. Asprilla plays it back nearly into the path of Hamir, but he gets it back to Bachmann, the goalkeeper. He plays it out to Hood. He drives a longer ball up through the middle, looking for Rajovic, who heads it on straight to O'Nien, and he plays it on to Dan Neil. Up to Huggins on the halfway line, to Aushish on the halfway line on the right. To Barr and back to Huggins. Huggins back to Ballard in the 93rd minute. Ballard across here and playing it back to O'Nien at the edge of the Sunderland.
Sorry, yeah, I've eaten plenty rats in my time. That I couldn't answer the wife rangers there.
O'Nien and on to Hamir. Back to O'Nien. Rusin's calling for it in the centre circle. Joe with it.
Well, when I was in Thailand, I ate a lot of rats, and a lot of them had big tails.
And across to the right wing to Huggins. Back inside in the penalty area to Dan Ballard, and Ballard. Well, they're just it's walking football here for Sunderland at the moment, just holding on to this 2-0 lead fairly comfortably.
Well, I only said pigeon.
And Ballard out to Huggins on the far side. Away from Bayo, back to Ballard.
You guys, it's been great, haven't you?
As we creep into the...
Hope you enjoyed those stories. Sorry to hog the comments. You hog the comments as much as you want, guys. You're having a good banter.
Ballard
It's been good in the chat tonight. Thanks for everybody joining in. You just chat as
Watford
much as you want.
You wouldn't have thought so, would you?
They're just standing around, aren't they? They're not making any attempt to close down.
No effort at all.
Here's Aushish, head down up to the halfway line. Barr's wide of him. Barr now, he's got Aushish, but he's come inside, a foot out from Kone, and he brings the ball forwards now over the halfway line for Watford. And looking for the run of Rajovic.
Yeah, they're on form, Middlesbrough-like as well.
Sunderland penalty. 09 just slides in and slips the ball away, and it's kept in by Huggins. And he now sprints away.
What's our form in the last 8 games
in the
then?
end, it's won
For us,
back
Sunderland,
by
I think we've done
Bayo.
pretty well.
And he cuts into the middle and plays it back eventually into Sierralta in the centre circle. Porteous, and to his left is Hurt. And then out wide to Jamal Lewis. Back again to Hurt, and they're going to bring on Chris Rigg as well. Are they in the next? Will they get him
You're
on?
welcome,
Because
Leighton.
there's only a minute or two left. And a spree, a low ball into the penalty area, cleared by Ballard.
Yeah, don't
Out
forget,
to
doing the
Hume,
stream again
now
on
Joe
Saturday for 12
in the
o'clock.
middle. It's Neil being
So
chased
you're all
by
welcome to
Healy.
join for the Saturday match against
And,
Middlesbrough.
it's left
But I've
for
enjoyed the
Huggins.
banter tonight in the chat. I've been reading all the
Huggins,
comments and the stories.
Sheesh.
It's been really good.
Sorry, O'Sheesh, yeah, to
look-alike.
Yeah. Well, they're both wearing twos. One's got one more two than the other
I
two.
think the oil rig's coming on.
Two.
Jube's going off.
4. But in my case, I made it 5. O'Nien back to Patterson.
I can never understand.
minute.
I don't know why they
Beginning
do
to
that.
wonder if Rick's going to get on here. Actually, here's Huggins back to O'Nien, out to Job, and O'Nien and Ballard have switched sides now as well. As the ball played over the top, Rusin's going to give chase, and the keeper comes out and puts his foot right through it, right back up to Ballard, who puts it out. And I think this is the opportunity.
How
now.
long's left, SCFC?
And,
There's
it's
literally
coming off
just
Job.
seconds left, mate. Tell you what, they're a poor side, Watford, aren't they? I mean, we've not
steady
even
as they
been
go,
100% our best, but they've not been special, Watford, have they?
Referee's rushing him off, look.
Yeah. Sunderland haven't got out the third gear, really.
Well, he's not going to get long, Chris Rigg. We're in the 96th minute. On he comes. Sunderland's 4th substitute. The ball in the centre with Hutt for Watford, out to Lewis. Back to Hutt on the halfway line. Lifted up towards the edge of the area, headed on
No,
by
we're leading
Healy.
2-0.
Into the arms, though, of Patterson.
I've not been keeping an eye
And
on
that's
that.
96 minutes played. How much more will Andy Davis, the referee, add on? Out to O'Nien. I don't think Riggs touched the ball yet. He's out through the centre. Patterson has it. He kicks up over halfway. Rusin heading it on, but too far ahead of Hamir.
That's it.
And that's it. It's a 2-0 victory for Sunderland against eventually a 10-man Watford, with Ryan Andrews being sent off in the 87th minute. But a terrific goal from Huggins and a brave goal from Barr either side of half-time.
Wait, that's full
has given
time.
Sunderland victory tonight. They're 4th in the table still. And
Cheers, everybody,
looking to
for
try and
tuning
narrow
in.
that gap on the top 3. Just keep going, keep going. Middlesbrough on Saturday, but they were patient tonight, because the first half was a bit like that Cardiff game, a slow burner, and eventually it was that little bit of magic from Niall Huggins to weave through, run through and smash it into the top corner.
Indeed, and you know, you look at it over the 90 minutes, it's a professional job done by Sunderland, and yeah, you're going to have a lot of people who say Watford
Give me 2 seconds.
are a poor team. But
Yeah.
you can beat what's in front of you.
Yeah, social.
Good professional job. Again, good goal by Huggins, and Barr getting on the score sheet, which was excellent.
Yeah, ready for
Clean
socials.
sheet.
Easy
So
win
you've got to
tonight.
take a lot of
Watford
the
very
positives
poor.
out of the
Just
game.
another day at the
A
office
lot
for
of credit
Sunderland
to
at the
Barr,
moment.
actually. It was a brave header. The ball reworked into
I
the
thought
penalty area.
people
He
saying they
threw
thought it was going to
himself
be
out
another
into the far
Cardiff. It
post.
was getting more and more frustrating. But
You always
game
thought that the
changer tonight
goalkeeper
was
was going to get
Huggins
there
with that
first,
absolute
but
quality
credit
finish.
to Barr, he got up there nice
Huggins
and
game
early, got his head
changer.
on the
Somebody
ball,
else has
and
said
that was that
Huggins
second goal
set the
I thought
tempo.
we needed.
Watford
Huggins
didn't
on
come
09 for me. Both
to
defended
sit
brilliant.
like
Huggins
Cardiff
taking his
did,
goals well.
but they
Onwards
did come
we
and make
go.
life difficult because in the first half they did have spells. In fact, they
Well,
grew
it's the
into
same.
the first half.
A point
And
off
the worry
third, we are
was we
flying
had
this
that
season.
worry
If we beat Borough
that
on
Sunderland
Saturday,
were
it could
allowing
be
them to grow
top
into the
three
game,
going into the
and that was the
international.
possibility then that
Great.
Watford could
Super
snatch a goal.
performance today.
Yeah,
So yeah,
and I think
as expected,
what
a
we're going to
very
get
happy
carried away with is that
social
we're
media
not going to
tonight.
dominate a game for 90 minutes. No team will be able to dominate a game for 90 minutes. And, you know, the style of football which Sunderland are playing, you know, we expect,
Right, so
especially
I'm going
that
to end the stream at
creativity,
my
you
end.
expect